Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sacktown Sports.
I'm Nate Littlefield, and this is your Pro Core Championship update. Right now, there's a four-way tie for first place. Everybody's at 7 under. Minwoo Lee, JJ Spahn, Patton Kazire, and David Lipsky all tied for the top spot. Coverage of the Pro Core Championship is brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality. But now, it's time to start Stiles and Watkins.
It's time. It is that time. Time for Stiles and Watkins.
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140. Find us on YouTube at Sacktown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes. We have made it to Friday. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m., leading you into the Drive Guys, Whitey Gleason and Kyle Draper, and they will take you to the beloved weekend. Been a beautiful week, been a fun week here at Stiles and Watkins, and been a beautiful week weather-wise as well, guys. How are both of you doing? Nate behind the glass for us today. One more chance, speaking of Nate, one more chance to get that ribeye and or filet mignon if you are someone with the same taste as Chris Watkins. The Thunder Showdown, September 21st. We're giving away tickets. One more chance. That's at 1 p.m. See undefeated Amari Jones try to defend his title. Chris Watkins, how you doing?
Good. Yeah, that game yesterday really sucked. Obviously, we're going to get into the Tua stuff.
Should have came to ballers.
Obviously, besides that, I mean, I really feel like I should have. Definitely didn't waste or didn't feel like it was a good use of my time yesterday. Bills just absolutely ran away with them, quite literally. So, just hoping that this weekend is full of better games, because if I have to see another performance like that, it's going to be a countdown to basketball season pretty soon.
Nate, how you doing back there? Getting your coffee in, I see you.
Yeah, getting my coffee in, third cup of the morning.
Come on, man.
You know what I was thinking about?
Watch your blood pressure.
I got up at 7, and
Nate and I need to figure out by the end of today, like, what we're going to do for our teams here. Like, we need to have some sort of jersey swap on Monday or something like that.
Oh yeah, little wager.
Things don't go well.
Yes, I will definitely moderate.
I got a nice
like
little Randy Moss jersey. With Nate's name on
I have a personal thing. I won't wear another team's jersey when it comes to the NFL.
But Chris, sometimes you wear. Don't you have like a Niners hat?
He does wear.
He
He has a Niners shirt too, or a jacket or something. Remember, it's like a throwback you got from the thrift store.
Oh yeah, I do have that Niners sweater. Yeah.
So it's got to be more than that.
Yeah,
it's got to be deeper than that.
Yeah, because
it's a jersey. I mean, if Nate has a policy about not wearing it, that feels like a perfect thing.
Yeah. It's an uneven
So you got to
wager.
think of something for Chris then.
That's what I'm saying. The Nate situation is set up.
I think it's pretty even.
You started this conversation.
I think it's pretty even.
See, I hate this stuff, man.
Feels like I would then have more to lose.
And it's like,
we want to make it even.
What if I'm like, I really have a thing against touching water bottles that have
then
other
have to do that.
Oh no, I got to drink from the water.
Yeah,
if I must.
You have to.
That sucks.
Well, maybe I'm lying.
That's not fair.
But like, even if the Niners did like smack the Vikings, I'm not going to come in on Monday morning and be like, yeah, what's up, Chris? I don't do that. I don't think that.
Well, you're 6-point favorite, so you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, I'm not.
I'll do it.
Yeah,
Chris can do it.
Raiders fans would do that.
Okay, well, why are you even bringing?
Because that's just.
Into this?
I think this show I was contemplating in the car.
Balance the scales.
We were having this conversation a couple weeks ago about doing this certain thing. I can't use the term when you go on a plane and you don't have earbuds in,
yes,
and you're it's basically you're in silence.
Yes,
I was doing that in the car, and
we'll call it sober
test run.
We'll call it
sober flights.
Sober flights. That's
sober
what we'll call it.
I guess so. Yeah.
Sober from everything, by the way.
Yes.
No music.
Yeah, no music.
No TV.
Just looking out the window. That's it.
Or
you and your thoughts.
Or at the head in front of you.
I've literally forgotten what I was talking about. We've gone too far. I don't even remember what I was going to say.
That's too far?
No, What were we just talking about?
Figuring out forfeits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I forgot.
There
well,
we go. Well,
this
we got a lot of time.
This
to
show
figure
has
it out.
already been hijacked. So let's. Speaking of planes, but I don't want to get into all that. I just want to sit here, Chris, and talk about my Ballers real quick, okay? Because my Ballers took care of business, okay, and they got a game 3 today, and it's going to be a big one. It's going to be a big one. YOLO high wheelers again. It was winner go home.
Okay.
And yeah, they got it done. They got it done 1-0.
Okay.
And they got to win again.
1-0.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yes, in that ballpark.
You're burying the lead here. 1-0. I've seen those
Pioneer
games be
League.
27-14. What are you
That's right.
talking about? 1-0.
That's right. The Pioneer
They played
League.
9 innings.
9 innings.
Wow.
9 innings.
Huh.
9 innings. So
How was the environment? How was the crowd?
it was
packed?
crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy. It was packed.
Was there a nice
live.
little like YOLO section? Where did we get some
couple,
people come out? Yeah.
Not a ton, but a
Okay.
couple. And yeah, it was a good time. Speaking of a good time, Emil Fergoso
There we go.
will join us, and that will happen at 11. We have Emil not for 1, but 2 segments. So that will be a lot of fun. Always a good time talking with Emil. Did want to get to this, Chris, as we talked about the A's and everything going on with the A's. Really, when Carmichael Dave is talking and a lot of people are talking and the Sacramento thing comes up, the question is, hey, is this thing going to happen or not, right? So Chris Biederman, there was a statement put out from Major League Baseball, and Chris Biederman was all over it. This was yesterday's statement from Major League Baseball regarding the A's move to Sacramento. It is a certainty that the A's will play their 2025 season in Sacramento as planned. Major League Baseball is continuing to work productively with the Major League Baseball Players Association on the details of the transition. So there's no world where according to Major League Baseball, and look, they don't really have time. There's no world where the A's don't play in Sacramento. And I know I was listening on the way to Oakland. I was listening to Whitey and Mr. Draper, and basically Whitey said, yeah, it could be a one and done with this new. There was a lot of talk about the new ownership, and I think Whitey might be on to something there, but I think it's kind of
they
funny,
only said
Chris.
2025 season.
That's right. That's right. I think it's funny to go from the conversation that we had from 3 years with the 4th year option all the way back to, well, we know we're getting 1 year to year. It feels like an NFL contract at this point.
Yeah, you can just rip it up and it's a whole new deal the next day. It's really confusing. And yeah, I mean, from kind of an outsider, I guess, like I would call myself an outsider perspective, like it's very, very confusing. And so I can't imagine, those who are just kind of dipping their toe into all this Sacramento to A's thing, the casual who just, enjoys baseball, but is more just so a resident of Sacramento, excited to have the opportunity. It's got to start to be confusing because you're seeing multiple reports of, hey, this thing is not a guarantee. Scott Boras obviously had the audio yesterday where he's saying the MLBPA still hasn't agreed on this, which is the part where I kind of get confused. So how is the MLBPA not approved of this, and yet the MLB is coming out and saying, yeah, that doesn't matter. We're definitely going to full steam ahead, go play there. I mean, I guess not regardless, but I guess that's the assumption that the MLBPA is just going to play, no pun intended, just going to play ball.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the assumption is, well, I think what it really is that, and I think we've had conversations. I don't want to say anything out loud. It gets really confusing, to be honest, what gets said on air and off air, especially when we're having a lot of these conversations. But basically the idea is that the Players Association doesn't really have that much power, right? So they can kick and scream if they want. But what this is telling us is that, yeah, we're going to get to a point where Major League Baseball, the Players Association, they will agree to this. It doesn't sound like there's an option for them to not agree with this. So
but
that
that's
should
not
tell
how
you
negotiations work, though. That's
Normally,
not how. Yeah, if there's two sides and one is in disagreement, you can't just plow through that and force them to play ball anyway.
Or the way this will read, or the way this could read is, we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that it will happen. I guess that's how they would sell it. That's not necessarily how it sounds, but yeah, that statement came out from Major League Baseball, and I'm really interested to see how the whole thing continues. Chris Biederman also went on to say that Bill Shakin reported in July Major League Baseball Players Association has to approve the plans, the working conditions, but it has no say on whether or not the A's move to Sacramento. That's even more confusing.
Very. Yeah, absolutely.
So what happens if they don't approve it and they still move?
That's what I have no idea. I mean, and that's why I think a statement like that is so confusing, especially at a moment like this where it just feels like there's so much denial. And I guess it's maybe a way of trying to cut through the noise and say, look, we're still very confident that this is going to happen. I guess you probably shouldn't use words like it is a certainty if that's going to be the case. But, I would assume that this is more kind of what you were saying, that this is the MLB more so pointing at we are going to do whatever it takes to make this happen. And if it is the turf or whatever, the facility's not being up to snuff, we are going to make sure that all of the concerns of the PA are met. And or I wonder if there's some way that MLB can just make it somehow, maybe like you're saying, if maybe this is just a 1-year thing, maybe the MLB can tell the MLBPA, look, we hear your concerns, and that's why we're not guaranteeing anything more than a year. I don't know. It's really a lot of speculation at this point when there is so many conflicting reports, but obviously we're just going to have to continue to track this. And I think at some point here, it's got to be pretty soon, as if they are going to do all of these renovations, it's probably got to start here pretty immediately. I'd imagine we're going to hear more about this as it's kind of becoming more and more in the news.
Week 2 is underway for the NFL season, and the season may or may not be over for one Tua. We saw what happened to him. If you didn't see what happened to him, very eerily similar to what happened to him in 2022. And the question is, what does Tua do next? We know he signed that big contract. We have sound from guys that played in the NFL and their thoughts on what Tua should do next. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Snatched the Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Insurance companies perform a very valuable service, but they want to keep their money. Although most cases settle before trial, it is paramount that the insurance companies know that if pressed, your legal team has the experience to take your case all the way. For 25 years, Ashton & Price has earned the reputation that if the insurance company isn't fair, we're ready to force them to be fair. My mom used to warn me, wait till dad gets home. Think of us as dad. The best part, there's no fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Do you have old baseball cards and sports memorabilia from the 50s and 60s collecting dust in your closet? They could be very valuable in any condition. Find out at the Sports Cards Roadshow. We'll be in the Sacramento area to evaluate your old and modern sports cards. Visit sportscardsroadshow.com today to schedule your appointment. Ask about your free on-site sports card evaluation. For large vintage and modern collections, we can come to you. Skip the garage sale. Sports Cards Roadshow is buying. Call 1-800-560-3272 today or visit sportscardsroadshow.com.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Tua left the game with a concussion, and we have sound from the play that we will get into right now. As we know, Tua signed a 4-year, $212.4 million contract with $167.1 million guaranteed in late July. So here is the play that led to the end of the night for one Tua Tagovailoa.
You're down by 21 points, 4th and 4. Pressure. Tua steps up. He's going to run for the first down and takes a shot at the 6-yard line. Hamlin hit him, and Tua down. Picked up the first, split the seam, but pays the price.
So after that, he was on the ground. The kind of the posturing that we've seen before from Tua, the fingers and he ends up leaving the game. Crazy enough, Chris, Damar Hamlin is the one that made that tackle, which is just another layer to all of this. But yeah, the question being asked all around the football world here on this Friday is whether or not Tua should retire. And, there've been a lot of good already being on the West Coast. So many East Coast shows have already been kicking, and I've been trying to keep up and watch a lot of the former players and what they had to say. I mean, the bottom line, and I think that, other people have kind of said it best. We can have the conversation about Tua retiring. There's no way that happened. I don't think that Tua is going to retire. I'll put it to you like that. I think he has a conversation with his family. One thing that's been highlighted is that this family is kind of their family business is football. His brother plays football. Right. They came out here to play football. This is what they do. Tua told a story, Chris, and I caught this morning on First Take. Apparently, I believe it was L. Duncan said that Tua on College Game Day basically said that his dad would hit him with a belt if he threw an interception or some crazy mess like that he said on College Game Day, I think last year. So I say all that to say this team is all about football, and I don't know that this conversation is even going to go too far with it. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I definitely think that it's going to be part of the conversation. I mean, the mood, the moment he goes down, everybody hits a knee, and I think everybody immediately thinks like, oh, like, you just start to see his hands kind of convulse in the way that it did previously. I think immediately everybody is just like, this is done. Like, why do we need to continue to go through with this? And of course, it's not our decision. It is, like you said, it's on Tua, it's on his family. He's going to have a conversation with them, and ultimately it's going to be on them to make it. But you could also argue that should bring up the conversation. Does Miami need to step in? Do the Dolphins? This is a guy that they just agreed in July to a 4-year, $212 million extension to. Do they need to step in and at the very least say, look, you're not playing in 10 days? Because I think there's a lot of layers to this conversation. And first and foremost is, there's a possibility that Tua doesn't miss any time, which I think is absolutely insane. I think this is exactly what happened last time. It's funny because they keep showing with all the score bugs and everything in the lower thirds, they keep saying Tua had 3 diagnosed concussions, but this is his 4th. He had one back in 2022. I think it was early in the season. He had a concussion that wasn't diagnosed. Everybody saw it. Everyone knew it was a concussion. And then the Dolphins plow through, play him the next week. And then that's when we really he gets another concussion. And that's when we really start to have the conversation when it comes to Tua. And so I just think that this is I think you're probably right that this is the one before the one. I think they probably give it one more go. And if anything happens, I think he probably calls it a career, but I don't think it's crazy to have the conversation right now because just of how bad it looked, because we know the history with Tua specifically. And it really does just kind of bring up the concussion thing all over again. And, when we are early in the season, there's not really full blown storylines when it comes to the teams to talk about. And so I think these are the kind of conversations that end up ruling the day for really like the first month of the season.
Yeah, and the bottom line is I was listening to a lot today, and I guess the 167 guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. He can't just retire, right? He can't just retire and still get that 167 guaranteed. He has to play a certain amount or whatever the case may be. And the question became, hey, well, I think what it was that $45 million he would be able to get if he just walked away, and then it goes into what is quote unquote life-changing money and what is not, right? And we try not to pocket watch on this show, but yeah, you give somebody, a normal person, $45 million. That is life-changing money, right? So the idea that, oh man, he has to play because he needs. Now, granted,
no, I think the conversation is he has to play because he wants to play. Nothing to do with the money.
Right. Now, granted, 100, whether it's 212 or 167, that is a lot more than $45 million. It can go a longer way, sure. But the idea that, oh man, he's got to do it for his family. He can't live on this measly $45 million at the expense of his health. I think he could if he wanted to. I think he'd be able to do it. But I don't think what.
I don't know if he will be able to play. I think his health is a real concern.
No. But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if he's got to walk away and he walks away with $45 million, right? Because I just want to be able to hang out with my kids and have conversations. Sure. I'm being a bit facetious saying I think he'll be able to figure it out with $45 million.
Oh, gotcha.
That's what I'm saying. Nate, let's get into what Manti Te'o had to say about the situation as far as Tua and these concussions.
Man, I want him to just walk away. I want him to stay through this. Like, where are you with that? Because none of us really know where to go, but none of us have your connection to him.
Yeah. I'll say this, Kyle. After he suffered the one against the Bengals, I wanted him to walk. That when I saw him have to be carted off the field,
yeah,
I wanted him to walk. Like that was
Yep.
That was hard, bro.
Yeah.
Like what people have to understand is this is just a game, you know, and then there's life. And when you watch a young man that you've known since you was a little boy go out there, you know, yeah, is it hard for me? Yeah, but I can't imagine how it is for Uncle Nalu and Auntie Diane to watch their son again go down. And, you know, Calais mentioned it was so good to watch him stand up. For somebody that's been in that situation who have had a concussion, I don't even know if Tua's there as he's walking off the field. Like there's been clips of me after concussions getting off the ground and walking off the stadium, walking into the locker room. I don't remember those walks. Yep. It's like I wake up. I remember when it was a playoff game against the Broncos, I got knocked out the second quarter of that game. I got up. The camera footage shows me walking to the locker room. Kyle, I didn't wake up. I didn't come to until the fourth quarter. It was 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and I was sitting in the locker roam trying to figure out why am I in Denver. And so to see my brother Tua go down like that, it really just makes me, I want the best for Tua, the man, the father. He's a father of two now. I want him to be able, not today, but 10, 15, 20 years down the line, to be able to raise his children, to be able to walk his daughter down the aisle. That's what I want for Tua. That's true joy. And I know the competitor in Tua, everybody, like how Jamie talked about, slide Tua. Like I was saying the same thing, bro, just slide. But knowing the competitor in him, he wants to win. He has a whole new helmet just to protect him. He lost weight just to protect himself. And to see him go down like that, I don't mean to get emotional on the show, but it was big for a family member to watch him go through that again. And I'm just so grateful that the NFL community has rallied around Tua. I just hope for my little brother that he sees, like, and he understands, knowing that his makeup, he understands what's important in life. And I just hope that he makes the right decision. Like Kyle, like, I'm not going to make the decision for you. I'm not saying to step away from the game. As a brother, I just want the best for you, and whatever that looks like for Tua and the Tagovailoa family, that's what I want for him.
I think the thing that I was thinking about when, as Manti Te'o was talking, and we talk about how this, you know, a lot of families similar to his family, they're just built on football, right? And that's their business. And the bottom line is, you know, if you're able to walk away with 50 mil or whatever the case may be, the bottom line is that you did it. You won. Right. I mean, you accomplished what you wanted to accomplish. Right. I mean, it might be easy for me to say, and honestly, it might be easy for Manti Te'o to say, who didn't really have the success in the NFL that he had in college. And that might be part of this as well. And Tua can see I'm so close to getting to that next level and being, you know, legendary, really, as far as a quarterback is concerned, that it's easy for us to say. But I would take a step back if I were the family, and ultimately it's Tua's decision. But he's got his parents, then he's got the family that he's created with his partner. The bottom line is that you accomplished what you wanted to accomplish. Not obviously you want to win a Super Bowl, you want to be around for a very long time, but in a vacuum, this is something, I mean, and this is something that's come out, Chris, the idea of being injury prone. Right. And it feels like Tua is. He tried to gain weight. He tried to do the jiu-jitsu. He tried to do a lot of different things, and it just hasn't. It worked last season, but here we are again. It just feels like, hey, this is something that you maybe didn't see coming. You've dealt with a lot of different injuries throughout your career. You did it. You did it. You don't have to force it. And if you do force it, at what cost?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you hear that Manti audio and just not feel like you want Tua to make the decision to kind of call it a career. I mean, it's really tough to hear things like that, and yeah, I mean, you definitely hope that he kind of sees the bigger picture of everything and understands that there's a lot of people that just want to see him kind of live a normal, healthy life. I mean, he's still young enough at this point to where maybe you can hope that if he stops taking all these hits to the head, it won't have permanent enough damage. And, yeah, you definitely hope that he makes the right decision for his family, because it shouldn't be. And I don't think it is. I don't think anybody's thinking about the money right now. I think it is just all about his health and about, I think the decision is, does Tua feel like he wants to accomplish more in football, or is this enough to drop all of those? Because that's the ambition's not going to go away. He's still going to want to achieve more in the NFL, but the risk reward of, okay, like you said, I mean, you've already accomplished more than really what anybody probably ever expected you to do, or what people where you're from have done. There's nothing really left to prove. Are you willing to, selflessly, honestly, put all your ambitions aside and recognize that this really isn't, it is about you, of course, but it's ultimately more so about your family. And yes, Tua, even though you might feel like you can plow through and get another concussion or have a career that, if you can limit the amount of concussions, you'll be fine. It's really not 100% about you. It is a bit about your family. Like Manti says, he's thinking about his parents, to his parents in that moment. Like, you really want to put your parents through watching you lay on the ground and convulse like that. I just think that there's some decisions that are a little bit bigger than yourself and definitely bigger than football. And to me, this is just a decision that Tua should be making. And he can do whatever he wants, but I just think it's pretty clear to a lot of people now that this is, if he's going to continue to play, things might just continue to get worse.
Coming up next, we get to the Bills side of things. We also have some numbers on the Niners headed to Minnesota that are, frankly, a little bit unbelievable. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL?
Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Cox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
I've always believed that golf is more than just a game. It embodies integrity, commitment, and a sense of style. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa, and I'd like to tell you a bit about Naturewood Home Furnishings, a business that shares these same values. With the Procore Championship Professional Golf Tournament happening at the stunning Silverado Resort in Napa, I couldn't help but notice the parallels. Just like the game of golf, Naturewood has built its reputation on integrity, commitment, and timeless style. Looking to bring a unique style into your home? Naturewood offers custom certified designers who can help you craft the perfect look tailored just for you. And while you're enjoying the elegance of the tournament this week, along with Napa's world-class wine and food, be sure to visit Naturewood Home Furnishings. You'll discover pieces with the same sophistication and quality as the game itself. Who knows? You might even find an heirloom that will be passed down for generations. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Just look for the water wheel.
Silverado savings spectacular now at Maida Chevy with $13,000 off MSRP. Every new Silverado half-ton LTZ in stock after rebates. $12,500 off every Silverado half-ton High Country after rebate. And $11,000 off all new Silverado half-ton RSTs exclusively at Maida Chevy at MaidaChevy.com. Sacramento Silverado headquarters. Whatever Silverado you choose, you'll save thousands at Maida Chevy. Together, let's drive.
Not available with special financing and leasing. Some other offers. Must trade in 2010 model year or newer. Ends 9/30/24.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kip Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kip Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sacktown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year.
$5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CLEAN to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CLEAN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CLEAN for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Get your tickets for the Marysville Stampede September 14th and 15th at marysvillestampede.com.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Talked about the Tua side of things, but prior to that, Chris, prior to the
Could you say that we talked Tua? Yeah.
You guys didn't like when I put that on the top stories at the top of the hour, you guys hated it.
Yeah, we hate her. Yeah, or at least I shouldn't say. I shouldn't speak.
Talk to us.
Speaking of hate, I remember what I was going to say when I blacked out earlier. What are we calling sober driving? What is it when you're not?
I really don't want to go back here.
Okay. Well, our show, I think we're getting on the map because we're starting to get some hate. We are in the text messages and the Sack chat. I think we're getting more hate than ever. And I think that means
I got called a moron this week.
Yeah, you're on the map, right?
But what does that have to do with the sober flights?
Because that's when I was sitting in the car when I was doing a sober flight while I was driving, which you should always be sober when you're driving.
Yeah, we'll come up with a better name.
Yeah, we need a better name than that. I was just thinking about, man, we've really, we've had a couple incidents recently that are like more than a couple where we're getting some real hate, and it's kind of fun. It's nice. I think we're about to make it big time.
Yeah.
You know what they say, any publicity is good publicity, and you're not really doing your job unless you're making people mad. So
yeah,
I had someone tell me, and it was somebody who listened to me at my previous station, and I was getting into it. I was getting into it on social media with somebody, and he said, if nobody is hating on what you're saying, you're probably not saying much.
Yeah, means you're boring, or they're just tuning you out in general.
You're like Mike Greenberg on like Greeny.
I'm not.
He just doesn't say anything. He's like a fence sitter. kind of guy.
But he's been around for a long time.
Yeah, he has exactly.
You don't ruffle any feathers.
You don't find him on the most annoying, the most annoying list.
No, I mean he is, but I think he's so. If anything, that's its own statement. Is that he is so forgettable or just like there that it's like,
why are you here?
Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm not even going to give you the credence of saying you're annoying because your existence is what's annoying, not even your takes.
Yes,
I did love Mike and Mike back in the day. Though.
Who didn't?
That was a different. That was a different time.
Yeah, we picked our side too. We already got we got our favorite Mike on air.
Yeah,
there you go. And speaking of why are you here, a lot of people were wondering that with Keon Coleman did not do much last night, but the Bills didn't need it as James Cook. We'll go into prop talk a little bit later, but James Cook balled out 2 touchdowns, 78 yards. Josh Allen, again, Nate was right on 100. Well, yeah, because I know 139 yards, 1 touchdown. It's just these numbers are just so bizarre, Chris, but it doesn't matter when you get the W's and you take care of business. Any takeaways from the Bills, or this is exactly why all 3 of us picked the Bills? This is exactly the game minus a concussion that we expected.
I did not expect this. I mean, I didn't look like it. I did not expect it to look that dominant. I mean, the Bills look like head and shoulders the better team. I mean, they didn't even – the reason why Josh Allen's stats weren't great is because they didn't need him to do anything. I mean, James Cook was running all over the place. He had a ton of long touchdowns. And then once they got in the red zone, unfortunately for me, Josh Allen didn't run it in. They just gave it to James Cook. He looked great yesterday, and, I think – Tua getting the pick 6 definitely didn't help either. And, those 2 interceptions before that definitely put the Bills in about as good a position as possible. I don't know what the word for it, but the fact that Tua goes down, I really do think masks a little. I won't even say masks, but I think it changes the conversation around what it really would have been. And really that game was about Tua having an absolutely terrible game. I mean, the first interception, I don't know if you can really put that on him. His receiver wasn't looking until the last second, really weird play. The second one, we find, hey, did anybody in here know Robbie Anderson found a new team?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that he went straight from the Niners straight back to Miami.
Right.
Of course he did.
Yeah,
of course he did.
Where else was he going to go?
Yeah.
And so, him and Tua have the miscommunication there. Tua overthrows him. That game to me was all about Tua playing absolutely terrible. And the Buffalo looked like they were the best team in the AFC East. And I feel like I need to apologize because after kind of upping the Jets these past couple of weeks, I think it's pretty clear that at least through 2 weeks, and I know Buffalo started in that Arizona game a little bit shaky, but really since the shaky start, they've looked awesome the last 6 quarters of football.
Yeah, they really have impressed me, and I think that on top of what I really want to see what the Jets look like this week. I really want to see what the Jets look like this week. Me too. And I know because the Niners, they're a different beast. And like we said, the Jets, now they have the Titans. Okay, they got to go to Tennessee and take on Will Levis, Mayo Man. Can you take care of the Titans? You can take care of the Titans, then maybe we can say, okay, the Niners are just – it's more about – that game was, as we started off the week, was that game more about the Jets or the Niners? Then we can say, okay, that game was just more about the Niners. And we can go from there. I mean, Josh Allen, you get it done in a couple different ways, Chris, and that's exactly what the Bills did. The Dolphins, to me, and guys, I don't want to go personal here, but and obviously, I hope both of these guys are okay. But you do know who my 2 quarterbacks that I drafted for fantasy were, right?
Yes, I do because I looked at it yesterday.
Jordan Love and Tua.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
How does that
the waiver
happen?
wire
do you want me to tell you how it happens? That's what happens when you auto draft.
Oh, brother.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't my fault. I was.
It's never your fault.
Well, it was back east, and there's a lot going on.
A lot different time zone.
Different time zone. Yeah.
You're 2 hours ahead. You didn't know?
3 hours ahead.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
there you go.
Man,
see, that would have happened to Nate too.
It messed me up, the time zone thing, when I was in Florida a few weeks ago.
There you go. You wake up and it's 2:00.
Yeah.
I feel like a teenager again.
Yeah, I was.
Where's the growth spurt? Yeah. So the Bills, they really just showed who they were, Chris. And look, and Whitey was talking about this yesterday on the drive, guys. These first 5 weeks, it's going to be, this team is trash, or this team is the best ever from week to week. We were all worried about the Bills last week as they go toe-to-toe with the Arizona Cardinals. They end up getting it done. Yeah. And now they come out against a Dolphins team who, the Dolphins game against the Jags, we thought it was, hey, I mean, the Jags, they're no slouch, right? So we didn't really count it against the Dolphins that was a close game. And then they come out and and when we talk about this game, obviously it's prior to his concussion. To me, Chris, I know they have somewhat of a running game. Do you remember the conversations when it was, Mike McDaniel's offensive coordinator going to take that Niners offense down to Miami? That offense is nothing like the Niners offense. It's nothing like it to me.
Yeah, I mean, they run some motion, definitely. I think that's the thing that makes it look a lot like there. I mean, they do run a lot of it's more of like the Niners offense from when McDaniel was there. I mean, which makes a lot of sense, obviously. But, I think the Niners offense has definitely evolved to a lot more down the field throws, and especially last night. I mean, there was no down the field throws at all. It was really the Devon Achane game in terms of the Dolphins. They just fed him about as many times as possible. And I know the fans were getting a little upset because they couldn't get the ball to Tyreek, but it just looked like the Dolphins can't pass the ball more than 10 yards down the field. And now that Skylar Thompson's in, I don't know if they can throw the ball past the line of scrimmage.
And now they're talking about
that dude is terrible.
Tom Brady's kids go to school in Florida. Could it be? I think a lot of people, who wants that to happen? Greg Olsen. That's who wants that to happen to get his spot.
It's Ryan Tannehill time. Bring him back to Miami.
916-339-1140. Let's get to JR. Haven't heard from JR in a while. Wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, JR? Happy Friday.
Hey, what's going on, girls?
How are you? Not much, JR. How are you doing?
Yeah, because, hey, the key to social media is making both sides hate you. If you can do that, that's a key.
Who's
right?
the king of social media?
Oh, you got to get in there. You got to say something so bad that everyone's just like, what an idiot. And you're like, yeah, that's right. That's what I was trying to do.
That's right.
Anyway, yeah. And by the way, drinking and driving, there's no room for that. But driving sober is way overrated. Okay, so here's the thing.
I don't condone that.
I don't condone that either. So let's talk a little bit. Hey, sorry about this, De La Stiles. Well, I got to get into this Christopher Watkins guy for Sunday.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Roll
okay,
up the
first of all,
sleeves.
it's a revenge game for old Brock Purdy, because last year, not fair that he went in there and his head wasn't on straight.
Right.
So I guarantee you, him and Kyle are stewing up stuff where he's going to throw for 5 touchdowns at 300 yards.
Okay.
So you know that right off the bat.
Sure.
So go ahead and write that in the book.
Okay.
And then you all know about Bosa not liking Ronald McDonaldson, right? You guys know about the beef with him and Donald?
No.
Bosa and Donald?
No.
What kind of show? Do your homework. Does Whitey Gleason have to do all the work for you guys?
Yes, he does. Yeah.
Listen, they don't like each other. Bosa's going to break him in half. Yeah, he doesn't. Definitely some history there.
He doesn't like Sam Darnold, really?
Oh no, there is definitely I don't know, Ohio State, USA. I don't know.
Yeah,
what it is,
that's what I'm trying to figure out, the connection.
Oh, yeah. He was like, "Why are we playing this guy last year in that final game?" So yeah, he's going to break him like a chicken bone. I don't see old Ronald McDonald standing up more than maybe one quarter.
Okay.
So go ahead and put that in the book, Wet Blanket. And they don't have you on their line. So between Bosa and the other guys on that D line, they don't have a blocker like old Christopher Watkins. They're going to be in trouble. They're going to be in serious trouble. And they got all those overpaid wide receivers.
Oh, okay.
We got one receiver that's a little overpaid.
Your whole team is overpaid.
Fair. Their whole team is overpaid.
No, your whole team.
My team?
Yes, your team.
Oh, they're underpaid.
JR, I can't find anything about this beef. I can't find anything about this beef.
Well, that's because you got to go to Sourdough Sam. He's the inside link, brother.
Gotcha.
Okay, I got him on speed dial. I'll try to get him in the break.
The old SD. No, I'm very excited about this game.
Yeah.
I've always been an anti-Viking fan. Why are you a Vikings fan, by the way? Have we ever proven that fact?
We've gotten to that before. We got to get to it on the other side, JR. Thank you very
right.
much.
Love you guys.
Goodbye.
Love you too, JR.
55-10.
Okay.
Bye, JR.
Get out of here.
Well, that kicks us
Get
off
outta here.
our Niners Vikings convo and conversation. We have the lines. We have some weird notes on the Niners in Minnesota that you probably won't believe. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Kevin Herter is Sacktown Sports.
Herter's open, steps into 3. He's got the triple.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Kevin Herter, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
I can't wait for golf this weekend, huh, buddy? Time flies. Love you, man. Oh, don't forget your knee brace again. We aren't in college anymore.
Moments together matter, so help protect yourself from RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV, and there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Some people just know safe drivers save more with Allstate. Just like they know a saxophone solo makes any song smoother. See? Smooth. And they know if you're a safe driver, you can save up to 40% with Allstate. Now that's nice.
Based on the national average premium savings for Allstate customers with a clean driving record versus those without. Savings vary by state and based on how you buy. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
It's not hard to be a mom. It's hard to be a good mom. It's easy to be a bad mom. That's so easy. But to be a good mom is hard. To be a bad mom, that's as easy as being a great dad. That's...
Nikki Glazer, Alive and Unwell Tour. Friday, September 20th. The venue at Thunder Valley. Tickets on sale now. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. She's alive and unwell. Don't miss Nikki Glazer.
Thank you. Good night.
What's going on? We're talking to Chad Hoblet, a Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. What's happening for Ram Power Days?
Well, 2024 is almost over, so we figured we'd get a head start with big savings on brand new 2025 Ram 1500s. Right now, you can save up to $15,000 off MSRP on the brand new and very nicely updated 2025 Ram 1500s, starting as low as $37,780.
I want to make sure I heard you right. You said 2025, as in next year's models, and you're already giving $15,000 off?
You heard that right. Plus, with all the upgrades Ram has made on the 1500s, this is the best Ram yet.
Test drive the best Ram truck yet at the Hoblet Ram Truck Center. See our whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
15,000 total net savings after 10,500 factory rebates and 4,500 dealer discounts. Rebates include 3,000 in Hoblet Select inventory coupons and 2,000 Hoblet trade-in assistant coupons. Must have qualifying trade-in. At least 5 of this net savings. Coupons only available while supplies last. See dealer for details.
Sacramento, Dierks Bentley's coming to town.
Getting drunk on a plane.
For his only show in California this year, Saturday, September 28th at Heart Health Park for Country in the Part 2.
What was I thinking?
And he's bringing some friends. Parmalee.
I want to close your eyes for this.
Tyler Rich.
Different.
Dasha. And more. Saturday, September 28th at Heart Health Park. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by the California Army National Guard and Red's Pizzeria and Tap House.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Mr. Emil Fregoso will join us at 11 o'clock. Emil, we'll see if he wants to come to the boxing match too. 1 o'clock, giving away those tickets to Mari Jones, the Thunder Showdown. Live boxing, my first live boxing match. The fur coat, fake fur coat, by the way, is in the mail. And we will have it in time, and we will have a grand old time out there.
I just bought my bucket of red paint to throw on you. So
I said fake.
I know. That's why I got to take that back
return
now.
it now.
Yeah. Do they take returns on paint?
Did you open it?
No.
What if it was
thankfully.
fake red paint?
There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Speaking
Slime.
of, real quick, and then we'll get into this. We haven't talked shows in a while, I feel like, on this show. Just what you've been currently watching.
Chris, you missed us talking about Black Mirror this morning.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! I didn't know. It must have been when
it was
like right when you walked out. We were talking about the video game episode.
Show that I've been watching, guys. That I'm all in. I have 3, maybe 4 episodes left. Dark Matter.
Okay.
On Apple TV, you got it. It's kind of sci-fi. It's basically different, kind of similar to Marvel in that they're talking about different dimensions and the multiverse in a way, but it's just based on decisions you make in your life. That's all I'll say. But I definitely would give it a look. See, I'll put it to you like this.
Description.
You know how we talk about I can't get into it as much, but basically this guy gets abducted by himself from another dimension.
Okay, there you go. That's the elevator pitch.
There you
right
go.
there.
Well, and you know how I told you when you have a small child and a significant other, it's hard to watch shows on your own. You can do it, but you better
you got to find Allen time. Yeah,
but you really better watch this because I'm staying up later. You got to fit it in.
Right.
This one has been worth it for me.
Okay.
So
great.
I just wanted to put it out there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm only watching our show, MTV The Challenge, of course.
Behind.
It's so
Yeah.
good. This season's incredible, season 40, so they're doing it as big as they possibly can. It's amazing. And then, Thursdays are Lord of the Rings Ring of Power night for me and my house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw that. That's on Prime, right?
It's on Prime. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's great.
I might have to get into that. Nate, you watching anything?
No, we're just rewatching It's Always Sunny with my girlfriend. She's never
so
seen
good.
it.
Sure.
So,
Really? Oh,
yeah,
man.
never seen it, so we're going through it.
You know, I don't know. Time is so confusing now, but remember back in the day, Chris, we were talking about Clusterfest, how it was in San Francisco. It was comedy and music.
Okay.
Right. And
Sure.
basically,
who could forget this?
My wife and I, we went to this. The reason I'm bringing this up is because they had some connection to Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I don't know what the connection was. Nate, they remade Patty's Pub.
Good.
Oh, really?
In
That's
the
cool.
festival, and you can go and hang out. Not they weren't there, but it was
Yeah.
made just like
and they're
the
like
pub.
serving drinks and stuff.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Exactly. It was pretty
I
cool.
like that. I love like seeing where films were shot like in person. Like if you go to LA and you're like, oh, this is where they filmed Back to the Future, or
Yeah.
like the backlot tour Universal. So I love
it's
kind of
great.
seeing like a set, and even if it's recreated or
Right,
whatever, it's
right,
still
right.
it's still cool. It's interesting. And then especially if it's recreated, like how did they do it? You
Mhm.
know, how much time and effort.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's nerd stuff.
There you go. Yeah, Crystal Verlad, where's the nerd drop? We need that for Nate. All right. Speaking of some nerdy numbers, here are the betting numbers, guys. Niners. Okay, well, I'm seeing two things. I saw 6, and I'm also seeing 5.5 for the Niners. They are favored. The over under is 46.5, and the money line is minus 275. How are we feeling about the Niners? Somebody on the text line, the 916, says the Niners -5 is the best bet of the weekend. I guess they're assuming, the Niners are going to win by more than that. I think that's, like I said, if it's not the best bet of the weekend, we're going to walk away from this weekend thinking the Vikings might be cooking here. But I feel like the Niners are going to take care of business and cover.
They should. I mean, they might. I think that 5 is a lot considering all the other factors of, San Francisco is on a short week. They are traveling not across the country, but a good distance. They're playing another 1-0 team. I think a 5-point spread is actually like an insane amount of points. Like that, I think that's a really good
You
number.
don't have purple lenses on this.
No, I mean, I still think the Niners are going to win. I definitely think the Niners are going to win. I just think, I mean, there's a good chance with all of those outlying factors. I mean, we have the numbers of the last time the Niners had won in Minnesota. It's a really tough place for them to play. Minnesota's feeling good. Sam Darnold's feeling about as good as he's ever going to feel. I think that there's a chance that this game is close, but I don't think that there's ever really going to be much doubt. I think it could be a 10-point game that Minnesota then scores last-minute touchdown or things like that. And I think it ends. The final score might not do it total justice. I think the Niners are going to control the game for the most part, but we'll see. I mean, it's going to be really dependent on both defensive lines. Can the Vikings defensive line make things difficult for Brock Purdy? I assume after, the Jets pretty much let Jordan Mason run all over the place, Vikings will put a little bit more attention to that, make it a little bit more in Brock Purdy's hands to win the game. Can the Vikings, who got 5 sacks last week against the Giants, granted, but still got 5 sacks last week, can they put pressure on Brock? And then on the other end, Niners D-line looked about as good as any other D-line in the league last week. Sam Darnold only got sacked once last week. Can they make it difficult? Because Sam Darnold with a clean pocket, I guarantee, is a much different quarterback than Sam Darnold with Bosa in his face or, with Fred Warner lurking in the secondary. I think that it's probably going to be a pretty comfortable win for the Niners. But again, I think the score might not do it justice.
That's fair. That is fair because, like you just said, and I just got nightmares from, swim being in those situations where it's the late touchdown, late field goal. The game is over.
Yeah.
But it's just something and then turned into a bad beat.
I mean, and the only way the Niners lost last year against Minnesota, everybody keeps pointing to that as like, oh my gosh, see the Vikings, see how hard it is to win. It's like Kirk Cousins played the game of his life. It was the last game he played fully before he tore his Achilles. And Brock Purdy had to lose his brain, essentially. I mean, he got a concussion that game, remember, and it wasn't fully diagnosed, and he looked completely different in the second half. He threw the interception. No Trent or Debo that game, which is absolutely massive. I think there was a lot of factors that went into a better Niners team beating the Vikings last year, and I think the Vikings are a lot more beatable this year. They don't have Kirk Cousins. Their offense isn't quite as good as it was last year when they had Kirk, and I think their defense is definitely a little bit better, but ultimately it's going to be on probably Brock to go out there and make plays. Brian Flores can make things crazy difficult. He sends the most insane blitz packages. He blitzes more than any other coordinator in the league. I think that there's a chance that Minnesota's defense can make this thing squirrely if they can get a couple turnovers. But if the Niners play the game that they're so used to playing, if they just don't turn the ball over, control possession, it's going to be a cakewalk for them. They're the better team. They should win. Even without McCaffrey, it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, and to pay off what I mentioned earlier, the Niners, and I honestly, I thought this was, I really thought it was a typo. They have not won in Minnesota since 1992.
Yeah. They've came close a couple times.
That's crazy.
Nate, you remember that Brett Favre to Greg Lewis in the back of the end zone?
I do. 2010.
That was great. That was my favorite Vikings Niners win
season.
By far.
This is from
Singletary. Shout out Singletary. I think was 5. I think both teams were 5-0 or something like that going into that game.
Oh, the Niners
was
were
huge.
Not.
Oh, they were really good. I thought they were good.
No, that was the year
season,
before Harbaugh, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
And it was early in the season.
It was. I remember it was
like
early
week
in the
3.
season because I just remember there was a lot of hype around both teams going into that game.
I think a lot of that came with Singletary, but then you see the roster turnover. That same roster comes back next year. Obviously, they add Aldon Smith with Harbaugh, and that's a 13-3 team. So.
From Josh Dubois, the 49ers have lost 7 straight road games to the Vikings since last win in 1992. Only team they have gone longer without beating on the road, the Kansas City Chiefs. Their last win in KC was in 1982. They are 0-5 since then. Will Sam Darnold be seeing ghosts again? The 916 on the Sack Chat says that. They also have a joke, guys. Got to give this one a rating. Sam is going to Darnold this weekend.
Yeah, that's a 0. I don't. Where's the punchline?
I guess that's going to be Sunday. Coming up next, we have Emil Fergoso. We go over the biggest week 1 surprises, Niners at Jets. Emil's thoughts on that, the Christian McCaffrey timeline, the Ayuk rustiness, and then we get into week 2. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SacktownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SacktownSports.com.
Hello, I'm Frank Ockrell with the Retirement Security Centers with a weekly economic update. Retirement readiness reporting is usually focused on the baby boomer generation, born 1956 through 1964. Well, Generation X turning 59 and a half this year is becoming a concern for them. Generation X is the generation born between 1965 and 1981 and is apparently lagging those that came before and those that have come after in retirement readiness. 62% of Gen X feels retirement confidence compared to 82% of baby boomers and 77% of millennials. Part of the preparedness may be due to not looking for help, as only 40% of Gen X use a financial advisor compared to 54% of millennials and boomers. While time may be running short to close the retirement readiness gap, hope is not lost. Investment in the S&P 500 has averaged gains of 10.2% over the past 10 years. This would mean that an investment approximately 7 years ago could have more than doubled in its time frame. While investment in stock-related investments poses risk, so could inactivity. How might this affect you or your family? Please go to frankontheradio.com to schedule an appointment, watch videos, and receive market updates. I'm ready to help you start your journey so you can define your future.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Osaic FA Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Osaic FA is separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Osaic FA.
It's Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, and guess what? Primetime football is back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. As always, offering the best food, the best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. So check them out, Capital Casino, and always remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, listen up. This is your Sacktown Sports live events calendar. First on the lineup is the Lodi Grape Festival, coming September 12th through the 15th. And then rock out to Zeppelin USA at Thunder Valley on September 19th. On September 20th, laugh your heart out with comedy superstar Nikki Glazer at Thunder Valley. And the laughs keep on coming on September 21st with George Lopez when he takes the stage at Hard Rock Live Sacramento. If you're a country fan, you won't want to miss Winona Judd at Hard Rock Live on September 28th. And then on October 4th, comedy legend Rob Schneider is bringing the laughs to Hard Rock Live Sacramento. On October 20th, you don't want to miss Renee Vaca as he brings his hilarious stand-up to the Crest Theater. And finally, gear up for the ultimate Halloween bash with a $5,000 costume contest. It's Sinners and Saints Saturday at Thunder Valley on Saturday, October 26th. Costumes, music, and plenty of thrills. And that's your Sacktown Sports live events calendar. For details, go to sacktownsports.com. And stay locked on to Sacktown Sports for your chance to win tickets. Do you have old baseball cards and sports memorabilia from the 50s and 60s collecting dust in your closet? They could be very valuable in any condition. Find out at the Sports Cards Roadshow. We'll be in the Sacramento area to evaluate your old and modern sports cards. Visit sportscardsroadshow.com today to schedule your appointment. Ask about your free on-site sports card evaluation. For large vintage and modern collections, we can come to you. Skip the garage sale. Sports Cards Roadshow is buying. Call 1-800-560-3272 today or visit sportscardsroadshow.com.
Get in on the action at Sky River Casino in Elk Grove. With over 80 table games, more than 2,100 slot machines, and a thrilling high-limit room, you'll enjoy a casino experience on a whole new level. Visit skyriver.com today. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Work is busy. And home? Pretty much the same. But you wouldn't know it because my skin doesn't look stressed thanks to Olay Retinol Body Wash. Its hydrating formula is packed with vitamin B3 complex plus retinol. I use Olay Retinol Body Wash to transform my skin from dry to moisturized and visibly renewed. Sure, I still have stress, but my skin looks amazing. Try Olay Retinol Body Wash for visibly renewed skin in just 14 days. Also try Retinol 24 Body Lotion.
Wake up. Breakfast. And Nature Made vitamins. Whatever your morning sounds like, Nature Made fits right in. Whether you're looking for vitamin C or a multivitamin to get key nutrients, we've got you covered. Now that's a good morning. We take care of you so you can take on your day. Start your day with Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTK-AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sacktown Sports.
I'm Nate Littlefield, and this is your Pro Core Championship update. Well, not a ton of movement at the top of the board here, but Minwoo Lee is still in first, tied with JJ Spawn, and then we have a four-way tie for third place. These Pro Core Championship updates are brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality. But now we get back to Stiles and Watkins with special guest Emil Ferguson.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text 916-339-1140.
Oh, someone spicy on the 916 says, give me the Vikings by 3.
Ooh.
Bernie will have a pick 6, and JJ will have 150 yards and 2 tutties.
Wow.
Yeah. But before we get into week 2, let's wrap up week 1 with one Emil Fergoso. So we got to peel back the onion here because I got in trouble. I walked out yesterday and I find out that I was in trouble because basically we wanted to have a meal on.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was for our Shannon Sharp segment.
No, that one. We haven't got the call yet. I'm hoping we don't. And I walk out and I see Nate and Emil and Chris, and they're all kind of looking at me. I'm thinking, what's up? They say, well, what's the deal? I thought you were going to come on the show. I thought Emil was going to come on the show. I said, what are you talking about? They said, well, Alan, you said you were going to text me to come on the show, and you never text me. And I said, well, Wednesday you were on Niners at 9 with the morning show. Yeah. And then I said I would follow up. And I followed up a little bit later than everybody expected.
Well, to be fair, you weren't the only one that forgot a 4-nighter schedule for us. Nate, we hosted the Empire yesterday
really
too.
Funny.
And I looked at Nate and I go, podcast, and he goes, oh wait, let's do it tomorrow. I said, okay.
See, I didn't forget a whole podcast.
You weren't the only one, so it's okay.
There you go.
It's going to be such a good podcast.
Yeah.
It really will. They're all
the
fire.
Empire.
Thanks.
I'm sure you've listened before.
I got a long drive to Tahoe, so I can't wait to fire it up.
You and the wife and baby Stiles.
That's right. Yeah. We're on our way up. Yep. That's right. As we have some fun with Emil Fergoso. Emil, thank you for joining us. Chris and I spent a good amount of time, and I think where I've landed on this is that we're going to know the answer to this question maybe more so after week 2. But who was that week 1 showdown on Monday night? Who was that game more about? Was that more about the Niners or was that more about the Jets?
More about the Niners.
Yeah.
More about the Niners, and after all the drama and speculation, such a tumultuous offseason with the contract standoffs, McCaffrey, Trent Williams, Brandon Ayuk, obviously, not doing practice until Tuesday before week 1. And at the end of the day, despite all of the noise, all the rumors, all the almost trades, the Niners still do what they do best, and that's win football games. And not only win football games, but go out and handle business on national television against a team that was very hungry and very determined to get a win, Robert Saleh especially, over his former team, and they had no answers for him.
Right.
And the scary part, they didn't even play that well offensively. They really didn't. They can be much better than that.
Yeah. Did you feel like a little bit was made of the Ayuk drop in the back of the end zone? Did you think that all that talk was overblown, or do you think it was kind of justified? And then we kind of got into it a little bit about the Peyton Manning comments and him really just going off about training camp and guys, this is why you guys need to show up to camp, get deals done early. What were your thoughts on the drop in general and then kind of all the discourse after?
I think it was 100% justified for the criticism to come from Ayuk. That's a second touchdown that Ayuk dropped in that right corner again. Yep. I remember Brock Purdy had that beautiful scramble against the Seahawks in wildcard weekend in 2022 where he threw that laser and Ayuk just couldn't come up with it. So that's the second time he's dropped that point. But again, Russ plays a factor into Ayuk. Even mentioned it this week that he didn't feel right. He
didn't want to watch film.
Didn't want to watch the film. He thought he was very scared of the film this week, even though Kyle was like, he did a good job. He wasn't, 100%, but he'll get there. It's not a big deal. But this happens. These contracts, and this happens every year with the Niners, these contract sagas that just linger into the season, linger into the training camp, into the preseason, when guys aren't just solely focusing on football, they affect their play on the field. We saw it last year with Nick Bosa. We saw it a year earlier with Deebo Samuel. We haven't seen it yet with Trent Williams because Trent Williams is just so good at football.
Right.
He's just a different breed. Silverback, that guy is just special. But Brandon, if you're going to be paid as a wide receiver 1, make $30 million a year, be financially set up for life, and he absolutely deserves it back. I'm never going to say he didn't deserve the back. He played like a wide receiver 1 the last 2 seasons. You got to perform like it, even on week 1 coming off of the rest, because the only thing that was different for Ayuk than all the other holdouts and all the other contract standoffs was that he was in the building the whole time. He was in shape the whole time. While he wasn't playing and practicing with the team, he was still doing workouts and team meetings. He was still super involved because he was preparing to be with the Niners for the future. And that is the case. But even despite being in the building, you saw a little bit of rust on the field.
Yeah. Well, and I think that is something that I've been a bit confused about in general, because I guess my question is, he signs his contract and now he's a $30 million guy, right? And really the drop issue, that's been more of a Deebo thing than Ayuk in general. But now is it, you're a $30 million guy, you just can't ever, because my take is at least get the drop out. Let's see what happens. I'm giving him a breakfast ball. I'm giving him a mulligan, and let's move forward and see if this is an actual problem. I actually more so gave him a pass on it to say, okay, we understand what went down. They won the game. Let's just move forward and go from there. Because the idea of now you make $30 million, are you never going to drop a pass again?
No,
but you got to make the tough ones.
You have to. You got
to make the tough ones.
I'm still giving him a mulligan. I think
it's very fair to give him a breakfast ball.
I agree too. But if he goes out week 2 against the Vikings and he makes another mistake,
I can't.
All the Jekylls are going to come out for him, and I think it's justified.
And I don't know how I ended up being being the IU defender.
Apologist over
I
here.
have
Come
no
on,
clue.
man.
I know, but because he's my
You
guy.
enjoyed this offseason, didn't you?
I actually
Like,
did.
get your
I needed
respect,
the content,
brother.
I needed the content.
Yeah.
Let's move forward, Emil, with a situation that is close to my heart and to my Achilles, Christian McCaffrey.
Oh my gosh.
And this tendonitis situation
Yeah, man.
that's going on with him. Emil, I looked this up yesterday. Okay, I looked it up.
Do your own research.
And we had to confirm. Emil, you remember who had Achilles tendonitis in week 18 last season and then ended up going pop goes the weasel in the Super Bowl? Who was that, Emil?
It was Dre Greenlaw.
Okay, so we've seen this movie before.
Very similar.
Chris and I agree. I don't want to see Christian McCaffrey until the Chiefs. I don't, Emil.
That's fair.
I don't.
I
Where are
get
you
it.
at with this?
Look, there's a reason why I took Brees on number 1 overall in our office fantasy league.
And by the way, Bobby's calling BS on that.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Bobby Jones.
He's saying you had inside. Yeah. Actually, he's saying there's a reason you did because you had insider knowledge, insider training that we did not have.
Wow. The fourth McCaffrey brother, or third McCaffrey brother?
That's right.
There's a few McCaffrey brothers.
I don't even know.
There's a whole clan, especially with the Culpos now. It's a whole clan now.
Luke, by the way, Luke can get some separation now. Luke
Yes, he
McCaffrey,
can.
There's a lot of hype.
They
around
really
Luke.
like him.
There's a lot of hype around
And
Luke.
look, the Niners wanted Luke McCaffrey. The fact that Adam Peters in Washington took him was a clear indictment of that system and what they're trying to do there. Anyway, regardless, on McCaffrey and the Achilles. My issue with all of it when it happened, even going 2 weeks ago when that draft happened and all that stuff, I took Brees, was not that it was a calf strain because he had got that early on in the preseason, taking the month off and everything's fine. He was still practicing. When I saw him at practice, he looked fine. He looked completely fine. It was when the Achilles was added to the calf strain because they have to be accurately reporting these injuries now. And we know, just like you said with Dre Greenlaw, he played through that too. Literally, he could not. And this calf Achilles injury is something that Christian has had since last season, going into the playoffs, where he had to kind of work through it.
I'm not sure a lot of people knew that either.
Yeah, they people forget, again, these small little minor little injury details people forget about when the Niners are winning and McCaffrey's playing well on the field when he looks 100%. McCaffrey rarely is 100%. That guy takes a lot of wear and tear on his body. There's a reason why he has a therapy gun on the sideline and getting iced and stretched out. That guy goes through a lot of pain, goes through a lot of wear and tear. He there's a reason why he trains like an Olympic sprinter, because he's such a dynamic runner of the football and so unique as a player. He has to train differently than most of these guys. And he's so obsessive about training that even though he says he's ready to play, even though he's confident he's going to play, it was a team decision on Monday when the warm-ups didn't go the plan that I need to go against I need to go against my judgment and listen to my team doctors and just take this time off and take this. So again, the Niners and John Lynch was on KMBR this morning. He said, if that's in terms of going on IR, if that's the right thing to do, it's what we'll do. We have to see how he is after yesterday. They're having a practice today. Is it possible he does go on short-term IR? Yes, absolutely. Because again, the Niners have a easier slate going until week 6, week 7, when it starts to get tough with the Chiefs. But they don't want to do that. And the fact they haven't put him on IR yet says they're really taking it day by day, week by week with this guy.
So just real quick, Emil, on the IR piece, I think everybody's understanding is that, what is it? It's 4 weeks if you go on IR. You just mentioned a short-term IR. Are there different types of IRs?
There are. Yes, there's a 4-week IR, which is short-term IR. But again, the Niners will have to use one of their 8 designated to return spots in order to bring McCaffrey back off that IR, which again, Ricky Pearsall's already going to have one because of where he's at, as well as John Feliciano is going to be one of those guys too. So they're already using, if they put McCaffrey on IR, 3 IR spots this year. Those can get tricky because you have to figure out how to plan those out correctly, especially this early on in the season. But you can do short-term IR and then long-term IR, which means you're out for the whole year. And there's 2 different ways to do that, and that's kind of the decision you can make, even with the short-term one, at the 4-week mark to see where they're at.
Cooking so far, and we're going to continue to do so with one Emil Fregoso. When we return, we talk about the Niners' biggest competition in the NFC and the AFC, and we take a trip around the NFL with Emil to see what he thinks about the Raiders. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back, He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is a serious heart condition. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. My HCM impacted how I felt and what I could do. So I asked my cardiologist about treatment advances that gave me new options. That conversation was big for me. That's why I'm working with Bristol Myers Squibb to raise awareness about HCM and to help others like me. Talk to your cardiologist today and visit hcmrealtalk.com to learn more.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb.
Y'all want to hear about the AARP auto insurance program from the Hartford? Well, if you're age 50 or over, you can save hundreds when you switch. Are you ready for some exclusive discounts too? Phone's in the air now. We're going to sign you up, baby. Go to visithartfordauto.com today for your free quote.
When you're with the Hartford, the Bucks got your back. Provided by Hartford Fire Insurance Company, not AARP or its affiliates. Individual savings vary. The Hartford pays a royalty fee to AARP, which is used for external purposes. For information and restrictions, go to thehartford.com.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Here with Emil Fregoso, Sacktown Sports 49ers Insider. Going to finish up on the Niners situation, then take a trip around the NFL. Obviously want Emil's thoughts on Tua. 916 is a bit of an interesting question. The text line has been on fire this week, by the way. Is it
Love it.
Super Bowl or bust if CMC tears his Achilles? Obviously, we don't want that to happen.
Wait.
But if he were to, let's say he comes back in 2 weeks.
Okay.
And goes down.
Yeah.
Would it still be considered Super Bowl or bust? I don't know.
Hate this.
I like that question. I don't like putting it out in the air.
I don't either. But I don't
mind. I would say that it probably should still be relatively. I mean, yeah.
Right. I mean, if it's not, what does that change? It's
Yeah.
still Brock's last season on the rookie deal.
Yeah.
So
They're still a great team.
You could say no, but that doesn't help anything.
They were an amazing team before Christian McCaffrey got there. Jordan Mason just ran for 140 yards. What are we talking about?
They still mollywop the Jets.
Yeah.
It's still the only thing they haven't accomplished. So
Right.
yeah,
I think it would have to be.
Yeah.
There would be an understanding, but
Yeah,
like we said, it
exactly.
doesn't change it. It does not change anything. You
That's
still
the
have
way
to
to
pay
put it.
Brock.
Yeah.
And you go from there. Emil, before we get into Tua and go around the NFL, who after week one, week one overreactions is what we love. This is what I personally love.
Yeah, man.
Who is the biggest competition for the Niners in the NFC? Lions, Eagle. A lot of people like what they saw from the Eagles. I'm still not convinced.
Oh, you mean Kyle Draper?
See, keep this beef, the whatever. I was listening to you guys a couple weeks ago. I don't want any part of that. I don't want
That's
any
my
part
frenemy.
of that.
Come on now. That's my frenemy.
I hear you. Who are you thinking in the NFC? You thought, okay, Niners got to pay attention.
I don't think it's changed. It's kind of the same culprits. I think the Packers situation was one I was watching before Jordan Love went down. Now I think it's the Lions and the Cowboys. I think right now in terms of the NFC hierarchy, the Niners are still clearly the best team in the NFC.
You got the Cowboys over the Eagles?
Yeah, I do. The Eagles defense is not good.
Yeah.
I really don't think
They got
Eagles,
Cooper DeJean.
They got Vic Fangio, who doesn't seem like he's coaching right now, but it's okay. I don't think the Eagles are that good defensively. I think it's going to be a problem. I think Jalen Hurts, he hasn't really looked the same in a couple of years, and those interceptions were a little bit concerning to me. I want to see how they respond this week going against the Falcons and see they did win the game, obviously, but I want to see how they do in a regular environment, not in Brazil, not in a primetime slot, not in a Friday, with all the weird situation going on with that.
The grass turf
thing. The soccer field they're playing. Don't get me started on turf. Anyway, I do still think it's the Cowboys and it's the Lions that you got to look out for. I think the Lions are the biggest threat to the Niners right now because even going back to the NFC Championship game last year, which you were at as well, they had that game. If not for some coaching blunders, they had that game against the Niners.
They did.
Emil, I'm curious. I mean, you had the Falcons drop that game to the Steelers. You had the Cardinals hang in there for a minute with the Bills.
Yeah.
Bengals get upset by the Pats. The Saints absolutely dog walk the Panthers. Cowboys beat the Browns. And then you have Sam Darnold really playing better than I think anybody ever would have thought. What do you think was your biggest surprise from week one?
It was the Bengals. The Bengals folding the Patriots
agreed.
at home. Yes, T.
It's
Higgins
inexcusable.
wasn't playing, and yes, Jamar hadn't practiced, but they laid an absolute egg against a Patriots team that during the preseason we thought they were going to tank this season because they were throwing Jacoby Brissett out there to basically pasture because of that offensive line was just not good. It's not a good offensive line, and yet they were able to move the ball effectively. Their defense looked top 5 against that Bengals team, and I think it was more of an indictment on where the Bengals are at right now than where the Patriots are at, because I don't think the Patriots are going to win a ton of games this year. But it was a shock to see that happen at home in Cincinnati, especially for a team that 2 years ago was in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why, James Jones on FS1 was saying, we got to stop giving Joe Burrow a pass. He said he's healthy. He said his wrist is fine. And if that's the case, you just got to play better.
Yeah.
You just got to play better. All right, Emil, I wanted to give you some time. I know you wanted to speak on the Tua situation, obviously very scary. And our thoughts go out to Tua and that whole situation. Don't know what's going to happen next. But as Chris has, kind of nicely put out, it doesn't really matter what happens next. Let's get Tua right. Same thing Mike McDaniel said and go from there.
Yeah, let's get it right. When it happened, it wasn't really the concussion. Yes, the concussion scared me. What scared me about how it happened was the circumstance. It wasn't a dangerous hit. In fact, Tua had more.
Kind of ran into his chest a little.
Tua had more force going into DeMar Hamlin, which ironic, honestly, considering everything that's happened with all of that. Tua had more force going into DeMar, and as soon as his neck cranked back against his forearm and his chest, I immediately went down. I was, oh no, and it's especially for a guy who had 2 reported concussions in 2022, 3 technically. The third one didn't really go report. They said it was a back issue, but we all kind of know it was a third one.
Right.
This is number 4. And especially after last season, being able to escape all this stuff and stay healthy and lead the league in passing yards, you thought everything was behind him. But to see it go down and in that nature with a very typical football hit.
We're also in week 2.
And we're also in week 2. And it was the one time he scrambled. The one time he tried to extend for extra yards, get the first down on 4th down because they were getting owned at home. It goes down like that and immediately goes to the fencing position. And as soon as his hand fisted up and he was no, I'm just so thanking the Lord that he was able to walk off under his own power. And thankfully he was, the reports afterwards that he's, full extremities, he's talking, he's active, he's awake, all that stuff. But again, Tua Tagovailoa, $93 million fully guaranteed, $167 million guaranteed in general if he walks away from football, which, again, we don't need to speculate on that right now. We just need to get Tua right. But he's set up for life. And the biggest thing I thought about last night was all the guys who loved the game so much, it took away the rest of their life. All that stuff. You need to make sure you get the most out of football before football gets the most out of you. And that's what I'm thinking about with Tua right now, is to make sure that he takes his time and there's no timeline on it right now, to make sure that he is okay, and just sending all the love to that guy, because I really, really appreciate him and been rooting for him since Alabama.
Well said, Emil. Well said. I don't have anything to add to that, Chris. I don't know if you did. I know we chatted about it a bit earlier.
Yeah, no, I mean, all that and more for sure. I mean, it's just a terrible situation, obviously, and it's kind of the reality of the NFL. And I think, it definitely is going to continue a conversation that's already been going on for a good bit of time. But yeah, we'll see how it plays out. I do think the fact that this is so early in the season is a really interesting layer to this, just because obviously there's so much football left, and the Dolphins had a lot of hope for this year. And I don't think you can just run Skylar Thompson out there and essentially just sell the rest of your year. And so that's what kind of, in the worst way, makes me fearful that the Dolphins are going to make a decision that's best for the team and maybe not best for the individual health of Tua.
Yeah, and you just wonder, will the NFL step in here? Because again, Roger
Roger
Goodell was at that game last night.
Yeah,
he was
really?
He was there in attendance at Hard Rock Stadium. So, and then this is a big deal. Franchise quarterback, a guy that's one of the good guys.
It feels like we're also finally to the other side of that conversation too, right? It felt like we were talking the other day actually about concussions and how when the Will Smith movie's coming out and everything, it feels like there were conversations at that time. Football might not exist in the way that we know it in 10, 15 years. No. And it feels like now we were getting to the point of, wow, wasn't it crazy that we were having those conversations? And it does feel like this potentially brings it back to the forefront because, kind of like you were saying, my first thought is like, thinking about guys like Junior Seau personally. Like you think about all those who you even a guy, just to use Junior Seau as the example, like people said, he was a very nice guy, very community oriented, everything. And then one day it just kind of went south. And those are the kind of things that I kind of felt forced to think about when this guy goes down with 4 concussions in what, like 2 years?
Yeah.
I mean, and he's still super young in his career.
He's 26.
If he's going to continue his career, I mean, think about all the damage it could do.
Yeah, 26 years old. He's 2 years older than me, guys. We share the same birthday. He's 2 years older than me exactly. It's incredible to think about that a guy, so much life left to live. There's so much more to football. I hope that if he can come back healthy and play football. But if that's not the best decision for him, I hope he makes the right one for him and his family.
Yeah, I just don't really know if he is going to continue to play. I mean, this isn't a situation we were talking about an Achilles. This isn't healing an Achilles.
No.
It
doesn't
seems
get better in my
like he is, and I don't know if this term has even been used prior to Tua, he is concussion prone. I mean, how he moves his body just does not jive with how he gets tackled and things like that. So it hasn't worked out for him. So and he's tried to gain weight, then he tried to lose weight. He tried to do the jiu-jitsu thing. Yeah. So this isn't a broken bone, right? He just has, I don't call it bad luck, call it whatever.
Well, no, once you get one concussion, it's really, really easy to get this next one.
Much more susceptible to getting more. Yeah. And the fact that it's 4 in 2 years now is very dangerous. And I just got to take a hard, long look at what is most important in life for Tua.
And there are other guys, right, throughout the NFL that have the concussions, but we're not seeing it's the finger posturing that
man.
Well, there's levels of concussions,
yes.
And that's about the last level before it's just like he's out on the field. Like he's Teddy Bridgewater out on the field.
Correct.
Yeah. Real quick, Emil, I know we're over, but we before we let you go, hey man, Raiders, how we feeling?
Not great.
Thank you for saying that.
Because
we were, we've been.
Yeah, I don't want Frank coming at me.
Okay, well, don't say the name.
I don't need Frank coming at me.
Look, he's already called in a couple times. We let Frank cook, and maybe the Raiders are cooked. We'll get into a little bit later what that line is, but I mean, is Ryan Tannehill gonna get off the shelf for the Dolphins or the Raiders or anybody?
I think it's more likely the
maybe?
Dolphins. I think the Packers did have some interest, and it was a money thing. I think they're gonna roll with Malik Willis. It looks like.
Good luck.
I do think the Dolphins are going to reach out to Ryan Tannehill and see what happens. Or I don't know. Is Tom Brady wanting to come back?
He's
Who
in the
knows?
booth now. He's giving picks.
Who
man.
knows?
Can he do both?
Hey,
like Draymond?
Can
he do both?
That'd be kind of crazy.
There you go.
And play.
Can he broadcast his own game? While he's playing?
I don't see why not.
Just
they already have
the
communication in the helmet.
That's a good call.
Call the game from the sideline.
There you go. Emil Fergoso, Sacktown Sports 49ers Insider. Be sure to check out all of his work on sacktownsports.com and follow him on social media. He is a great follow. He is in the building a lot when it comes to your 49ers, as we are the Sacramento home of the red and gold. Thank you, Emil. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Domantas Sabonis plays here.
He finds Sabonis. Put the frosting on the cake. Put the cherry on the sundae. Sabonis with a two-hand flush makes it 114-106.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
A new Honda? Nice. Well, it was like this. It was a super hot day, so we all stopped for some ice cream. When bam, the AC went out. My dad started sweating and was all, man, I stink. And my brother was like, I hate this car. And my mom was all, I'm dying in here. Then I said, it's time to call Stockton Honda. Then Dad was like, honey, you're right. I knew you were my favorite. And just like that, Stockton Honda to the rescue. StocktonHonda.com.
I would end the day with sore feet, sore legs. The drugstore inserts that I was purchasing were really not very useful at all. I walked into the Good Feet store and the guy kind of grinned at me and said, I hear that a lot. I was living with chronic pain before going to the Good Feet store. Now I don't really have that problem. I'm able to do the things that I expect to be able to do, even at my advanced age. I feel pretty good about what's going on.
Come to the Good Feet store now for a free fitting and test walk.
Experience a golf tournament as refined as you are. The Pro Court Championship at Silverado Resort, September 12th through the 15th. Be there as the best of Napa meets the best of the PGA Tour. With world-class wine experiences, breathtaking views, and incredible golf. It's like this weekend was made for you. The Pro Court Championship, September 12th through the 15th. For tickets, go to ProCourtChampionship.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now. I've always believed that golf is more than just a game. It embodies integrity, commitment, and a sense of style. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa, and I'd like to tell you a bit about Naturewood Home Furnishings, a business that shares these same values. With the Procore Championship Professional Golf Tournament happening at the stunning Silverado Resort in Napa, I couldn't help but notice the parallels. Just like the game of golf, Naturewood has built its reputation on integrity, commitment, and timeless style. Looking to bring a unique style into your home? Naturewood offers custom certified designers who can help you craft the perfect look tailored just for you. And while you're enjoying the elegance of the tournament this week, along with Napa's world-class wine and food, be sure to visit Naturewood Home Furnishings. You'll discover pieces with the same sophistication and quality as the game itself. Who knows? You might even find an heirloom that will be passed down for generations. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Just look for the water wheel.
Sacramento, Dirk Bentley's coming to town.
Getting drunk on a plane.
For his only show in California this year, Saturday, September 28th at Heart Health Park for Country in the Park 2.
What was I thinking?
And he's bringing some friends. Carmelie.
I want to close your eyes for this.
Tyler Rich.
Be the difference.
Dasha. And more. Saturday, September 28th at Heart Health Park. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by the California Army National Guard and Red's Pizzeria and Tap House.
Get your tickets for the Marysville Stampede September 14th and 15th at MarysvilleStampede.com.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Thanks to Emil again. Curtis Hicks, y'all being disrespectful to the nation. All caps. Ooh. 3 exclamation points. I think Emil kept it pretty chill. Yeah. I don't want to divulge and release information on Emil, as far as this fandom is concerned. I'm only going to speak to myself. Word on the streets is he's a member of the nation.
I'll do it.
Well.
He's a Raiders fan. He said it on air all the time.
Does he?
Yeah, he definitely has with me.
Does he?
Yeah, you
or
don't
he's
listen.
been a Raider fan in the past. I mean, I just more so mean like I assume he watches a lot of Niners now, and so he doesn't have the time to like fan.
It's got to be. It is tough,
it's
right?
Really
because
tough,
you find
especially
yourself
if it's a different team. Yeah.
You find yourself feeling. I don't want to say like a fraud, but I know more about the Niners than the Raiders at this point,
right?
Because we talk Niners so much.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
it is confusing.
I can definitely do a Niners segment easier than I can do a Vikings segment for that exact. Well, maybe not fully there yet. Well, I still think I could, but yeah, I think that I think that it's really tough when you just aren't, when you're so involved with one team to try and be as equally involved with your other team.
Well, Sunday, the Niners will be looking for the knockout punch against the Minnesota Vikings, Chris's Vikings. Yes. And speaking of knockout punches, this September, Feel the Thunder with the ultimate high voltage live boxing event. You have to see to believe. All you have to do is hit up the Folsom Lake Honda hotline at 1 p.m. And all 3 of us have picked one today. So we'll figure out who's going to pick that lucky number to score the last pair of tickets to the Thunder Showdown, September 21st. That is next week. I will be there. Nate will be there. And Chris Watkins. He just very well.
Considering it. The more you talk about steak dinner.
Oh, see that, Nate? That's what we're talking about. 916 from the 916. Chris is going to call out on Monday.
Please?
the Vikings going to lose so dang bad.
Or I'll call out on Monday because I celebrated so hard.
Hey, let's
either
just
way. I'm not
going
to be here on Monday,
or just
guys.
be here. You know,
yeah, you caught it, dude. You did so well last Monday.
I mean, it's going to go off the rails.
But dude, I haven't really talked about this game much. I'm not looking forward to it. I'm
got a weird feeling?
nervous a little bit. Yeah, I just last year I think was a bad omen. I don't like all this chatter that's going on today.
The trash talk, too overconfident. Is that what you're worried about?
A lot of confidence on that side.
Yeah, it's other people. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how confident the Niners are because you have Bosa coming out and saying the Vikings are a better team than the Jets. Is that just coach speak?
Can I say this, though? Can I say this just real quick? Because this is what led to the Frank call on Monday with the Raiders. And later, I spoke about something that I think we've spoken about on the show before, but I wanted to kind of put us all into categories. And I think we might have did this a little bit on Tuesday. The optimistic fan, the pessimistic fan, and the realistic fan. Me and Nate don't have a ton in common, but I do feel like we're both we're closer to pessimistic fans for our teams than optimistic fans.
How can you not be a pessimistic fan when you're a Raiders fan? I guess we see it all the time. I know.
It's called delusion, Nate.
Yeah. Go try it sometime.
But I think you are more of a pessimist. You're saying all this stuff about the Niner fans, and I'm pretty sure
you're nervous now.
You would. You know, Republican, Democrat. I feel like you would click in as a
show.
I feel like you would submit as a pessimistic fan, a pessimistic fan.
Yeah. Well, and that wasn't how it always was. I was that first Super Bowl I watched the Niners lose.
Arrogant.
The Ravens.
You are broken.
Love to meet an arrogant Nate.
I've grown. That 2012 Super Bowl, technically 2013. I was like, oh, there's just no way the 49ers are going to lose to the Ravens. Like Joe Flacco, like, dude, who's ever Jacoby Jones? Like all these guys, like the Niners. Rest in peace, Jacoby. No offense. He had that run. So it sucks to be me, I guess. The holding call and the end of whatever, but
then take us through.
Yeah, I just thought there's no way. And then, the previous year I thought no way you're losing to the Giants too. 2011 with the knee, the double touch, Kyle Williams, 10 points given to the Giants practically. And then the Richard Sherman thing happens, and then the Niners suck for a while, are like really bad. The NFL's debatably worst team for that 3-year span. And then you start to get Shanahan, they're still bad and nothing's happening. And that's when you start to be like, okay, all right. And then 2019 happens, team gets good again. And you're kind of on the seat of your pants, like what's going to happen? And then they lose it again. I really thought they were going to do it that time. Then you're pretty much just a broken man at that point. 2020 comes around. Jimmy G tears his ACL on that turf, and not with the Jets. He tore it in 2018. Got hurt again with the Jets in 2020. Bosa tears his ACL. It's a bloodbath on that field, and then you start to become a withered man.
Niner history book over here.
Yeah, you're smoking cigarettes. You're getting wrinkled crow's feet on your face, and I'm an adult now, so you're showing up to work the day after the Niners lose the Super Bowl to the Chiefs again,
and it's just numb.
Long numb way of saying he is a pessimist.
Yeah,
so, but I do think it's interesting that you weren't always like that, because I think there are a lot of people that they just, it's in their nature. They're always optimistic. They're always going to feel like their team is going to figure it out or be better than expected, I think. And I think with Niner fans, I think it's tough to think they're going to be better than expected when you've done everything besides win the big one. I mean, you can make the argument, at least Raider fans can say, we're going to surprise some people. Niner fans, you can't surprise anyone. Even if you win, you were supposed to win. You have the best roster.
Right.
So you're just stuck in a situation. Want to get to this real quick, Nate, if you have it. We threw it in there. Antonio Pierce, a lot of people... And I'm assuming he, of course, he got asked the question. It's a fellow AFC team, Antonio Pierce, former player himself. He had some things to say as far as what he would tell Tua. And some people are saying Antonio Pierce should not be speaking on that situation. And here it is.
I'll be honest. I'll just tell him to retire. It's not worth it. It's not worth to play the game. I haven't witnessed anything like I've seen that's happened to him 3 times. Scary. You can see right away the players' faces on the field. You can see the sense of urgency from everybody to get Tua help. I just think at some point, he's going to live longer and he's going to play football. Take care of your family.
And people have a problem with that?
Apparently, people are saying that he's not in a position where he should be speaking on that. Yeah,
as a former player, as a current coach.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand. I mean,
I don't either.
Yeah, to me, that's the right take. I mean, I just think, for him to not have I won't say I'm upset at Mike McDaniel for saying, let's not, try and speculate about where Tua should be. I mean, I understand a little bit where he's going, but at the same time, I do think he should just at some point outright say, like, let's assume not until he tells us he is. Like, that's to me how it should be right now. I understand maybe we're just kind of prisoner of the moment, but I don't know. Again, like AP said, like, I've never seen somebody have this same exact instance 3 different times where we've seen the fencing or whatever. The entire convulsing, all of it. Like, it's a really scary sight. And, maybe it is just that. Maybe it is a scary sight and the reality isn't as scary as what the appearance is, but I just don't believe that, man. I just fully believe, even from a trauma standpoint, I just think the trauma that his family is going through, having to see someone they love go through that, just take the time off. Like, at the very least, take time off. And if you still feel like you want to come back, feel free and come back. But I think as it stands right now, it should be, he's not playing until further notice.
It's a football Friday, but that doesn't mean we're not going to still go around the NBA. And we do that when we return. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Chad, what's going on for Ram Power Days?
If you've been looking for the right, hard-to-find Ram heavy duty, great news. We have them. And right now, you can save up to $15,500 off MSRP on the new 2024 Ram 2500s.
You always seem to have the best deals and biggest selection of Ram trucks.
That's why we are California's #1 Ram truck dealer and #3 in the nation. Plus, we have over 400 new Ram trucks available, including those hard-to-find heavy duties. Your perfect truck is waiting at the Hoblet Ram Truck Center.
Find your new heavy-duty Ram in the Hoblet Ram Truck Center. See their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. And remember to check out the Hoblet Used Car Super Center in downtown Woodland with over 50 cars under $20,000. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$15,500 total net savings on select new Ram 2500 tradesmans after $9,000 factory rebates, $6,500 dealer discounts. Rebates include $3,000 Hoblet Select inventory coupons, $2,000 Hoblet trade-in assistance, must have qualifying trade-in, and $2,000 on-the-job incentive for qualifying business owners. At least 5 of this net savings. See dealer for details.
Hi, this is Greg Papa. Disasters hit every day. If your home, business, or building has suffered from any disaster, SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to and letting their focus be on what's most important, your family or your business. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884. Do you have old baseball cards and sports memorabilia from the 50s and 60s collecting dust in your closet? They could be very valuable in any condition. Find out at the Sports Cards Roadshow. We'll be in the Sacramento area to evaluate your old and modern sports cards. Visit sportscardsroadshow.com today to schedule your appointment. Ask about your free on-site sports card evaluation. For large vintage and modern collections, we can come to you. Skip the garage sale. Sports Cards Roadshow is buying. Call 1-800-560-3272 today or visit sportscardsroadshow.com.
It's not hard to be a mom. It's hard to be a good mom. It's easy to be a bad mom. That's so easy. But to be a good mom is hard. To be a bad mom, that's as easy as being a great dad. That's...
Nikki Glazer, Alive and Unwell Tour. Friday, September 20th. The venue at Thunder Valley. Tickets on sale now. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. She's alive and unwell. Don't miss Nikki Glazer.
Thank you. Good night.
DC here for Folsom Lake Kia, where they make car shopping easy with a huge selection of new Kia models, low payments, and zero down deals with approved credit. Folsom Lake Kia, your trusted dealer in Folsom for over 25 years. FolsomLakeKia.com.
Sacktown Sports.
Call
339-1140.
Time to take a trip around the NBA. And we're going to start here, guys, with the team from the Bay. Actually, this is more about Jimmy Butler. There's a couple notes on Jimmy Butler in our Around the NBA segment, and two kind of random notes, Chris. The first one, I'll actually go with the more random note first, and this is from Nets Daily. And they say Jimmy Butler's interest in the Brooklyn Nets is very real. And get this, Chris, partly due to a connection with Ben Simmons. Jimmy Butler's interest in the Brooklyn Nets is very, very real. Part of it is New York. Part of it is that Bernie Lee, who is Ben Simmons' agent, is very happy with how his client has been dealt with by the Nets. I mean, that doesn't necessarily
not letting him play.
Right. That doesn't necessarily sound like Jimmy Butler has a connection with one Ben Simmons. And didn't they have a crossover in
Yes, they did in
76ers?
Philly, and that's why I would think that it's actually the opposite. If I had to guess, Ben Simmons is like the complete bizarro Jimmy Butler. Like everything Jimmy Butler stands for, it seems like Ben Simmons could not be more completely opposite of it. Yeah, I that makes no sense to me at all. I mean, the only thing that even makes a little bit of sense is if Jimmy is, you know, somebody who wants to still be the number one on a team. I mean, he'll definitely be the number one on Brooklyn, but I don't, no disrespect to Jordy, but I just don't think Brooklyn's going to be good for a while. They're definitely in a seller's mode.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense as far as, you know, I think the week you were out, we had on a Nets writer, and it was more about when they're going to move the pieces that they have that people are really interested in, and that was going to be probably closer to the trade deadline. So yeah, it doesn't make a ton of sense with their timeline. And as good as, you know, Dorian Finney-Smith and Cam Johnson are, you add Jimmy Butler to that mix, you might be hunting play-in. Maybe you could hunt a play-in, but what are we doing? You know, why don't you just build it from the ground up? And I guess you can include Ben Simmons in that conversation. I don't, because the last time Ben Simmons played, I wasn't a father. So I'm not really sure what to do with this piece of it. The next piece, as far as our Around the NBA segment goes, still with Jimmy Butler. And this one is from friend of the station, future friend of the show, Sam Amick. The Golden State Warriors are interested in Jimmy Butler. The timing, Chris, is the one that has me a bit confused. Jimmy Butler, and this is the quote from Sam Amick, Jimmy Butler is going to be a free agent next summer, didn't get an extension done. The Warriors have interest there and probably made a couple calls to Miami this summer. So we're talking about, I mean, to me, Chris,
I said potentially made a couple calls to Miami this summer. I just want to clarify if
probably.
Okay, so he's not directly reporting that they did. Okay,
yes, gotcha. And probably made a couple calls. Okay. I would say this: what this smells like to me would be a trade deadline deal, because we know the ages. I mean, you're talking mid to late 30s for all these guys. You can wait. I mean, and at that point, if you didn't, and I don't know how the Warriors could pull that off with their money situation. I don't know if we're talking Kuminga or Wiggins. Yeah, it's a Wiggins. If I think, you know, funny enough, I think Wiggins is a guy who could go to Miami and have another good year, culture, right? Another good year, maybe 2 more years again. Jimmy Butler's 34. He's literally, actually, well, I don't know.
Celebrity birthday?
It's tomorrow.
Well,
his birthday
we already
tomorrow.
missed celebrity birthdays.
Right, it's tomorrow, so he's going to be 35 tomorrow.
Wow.
So to me, this smells like, if anything, a deadline deal. Get him in, make a push.
Sure.
See what you can do with the push.
Yeah.
If that doesn't work out, we're all in next season. You move off of Andrew Wiggins. You have Kuminga. You have Podziemski. You have Trace Jackson. Your younger guys, and you see if you can make one more run with Jimmy. We've heard some of this before. What do you think? Let's just play the game and say that the Warriors make the deal. Yeah, like you said, money-wise. And I don't know if they would have to throw a pick. I know they probably don't want to throw a pick, but just for fun.
Might be a young guy.
Yeah, Andrew Wiggins Andrew Wiggins, Kevon Looney, and somebody other than Brandon or Moody. Just throw Moody. He's another guy that you can see him making shots in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Cooking on Miami.
So here you go,
No
Moody,
doubt.
Andrew Wiggins, and Kevon Looney for Jimmy Butler. You get Jimmy Butler in the building for the final for post trade deadline.
Yeah.
What are we doing with the Warriors?
I mean, it obviously depends on where they're standing at that point. I would assume if a trade like that is made specifically near the trade deadline, both teams are probably underperforming. That's kind of the part of it that I am intrigued to see. I know Sam mentions that they didn't get the extension done this summer, but that would require Miami fully saying this experiment is done and we're trying to transition to a new era, right? Like, I definitely don't think that they're going to be, sellers or anything. I don't think that, I shouldn't say sellers. I don't think they're going to be rebuilding at any point here anytime soon. They still have Bam. They still have Tyler Hero. They still are going to want to be competitive. I would guess that probably puts the Warriors, I mean, it definitely makes them more dangerous, but it's not a seamless fit. Like, Jimmy's not a shooter at all, even a little bit. If anything, he's a little bit redundant with Draymond, funny enough. I think the impact would definitely be felt, especially on the defensive end, but I don't know if it would be a trade that would really make sense in the middle of the season play-wise. Like, I think that is going to take a lot of work. I mean, a lot of just time together, a full off season, like actually trying to think of an offense that makes sense, because
spacing is an issue. Spacing is an issue.
Yeah. I just can't think of how him and Steph really play off of each other in the most optimal way.
Yeah. I mean, you'd have to give it a look, I guess,
Definitely.
if you're the Warriors, because
talent.
It's talent. It's someone who understands the assignment, as the kids say.
Yeah. Win a championship, right? Yeah. He's championship minded.
We can. Hey, let's help you, help me. We'll help each other. You get Draymond, you got Steph. You're gonna take care of that side of things. You got dogs all over the floor.
Yeah.
So
him and Draymond are definitely getting into a fight.
Without a doubt. But they would say, then they would spin it to say that's just the competitiveness.
You put two dogs in a room. They're gonna start barking.
Yeah. I mean, you put two pit bulls in the middle of a cage together in Siberia.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Like, what? Well, how did we get to Siberia? Yeah, why are we going to Siberia? Who said that? Last piece, Chris, and I find this one to be a lot of fun as I was in PA, and I had some fun with it, of course. Zach Edey, the official favorite to win Rookie of the Year next season per Bovada. Zach Edey at plus 500, Reed Shepherd at plus 600, Alexander Sarr at plus 900, Stephon Castle at plus 900, Matas Buzelis.
That's the one I'm putting
plus
on.
1,000, Dalton Connect
Plus
at plus
1,000. Wow.
plus 1,100, Rasache at plus 1,200, Donovan Clingan at plus 1,500, Carlton Carrington at plus 1,800, Rob Dillingham at plus 1,800. Devin Carter, I'm just going to skip a couple.
Why not?
Besides Tejan. Wow, right next to each other. This isn't good because one guy is, I think, playing the whole season. One guy isn't. Tejan Salon.
I don't even think one guy's
I haven't said
eligible.
that name in a long time.
Yeah.
Tejan Salon at plus 7,000 and Devin Carter at plus 8,000.
So does now refresh me? Plus 1,000 would be 10 to win 100. Yeah.
Yes,
Yes,
right,
I
Nate?
believe so. Yeah, I think
That's
that's
correct.
how that works. Because plus 100 would be. Yeah, I believe
Yeah,
that would
because it
be
would
to
be
win
because
10, right?
Zach Edey would be plus 10 to win, or $10 to win 50.
Okay, yeah, gotcha. I mean, I think that's probably where I would lean if we are doing which one entices you the most. I think the Matas one is really good. I like Reed Shepherd too. I'd probably put Reed Shepherd before I put Zach Edey.
I got some more for you.
Okay.
This guy, the issue is going to be playing time. But
Okay.
Jared McCain at plus 3,500.
That's not bad.
But I don't bad. Leave him alone, Nate.
Is that minutes, hours on TikTok? What's the over-under on that?
Okay, I got two more for you, Chris. Two more of your buddies, by the way.
Okay.
Cody Williams at plus 4,000.
Okay, that one's tough to see.
Okay, and Tristan De Silva. You never know.
Yeah.
Plus 4,000 as well.
I would think the path for that one is one of Banchero or Wagner getting hurt and he plays major minutes.
Yeah.
Because I think he's going to be a bench player for sure. He's definitely going to be a rotation player for them, but he probably won't get enough minutes as currently constructed in order to win Rookie of the Year. Like Rookie of the Year, obviously you have to be the most standout of everybody. There's going to be guys like Zach Edey that are going to be in starting spots already. Reed Shepherd is probably going to get a ton of minutes too. I think there's if I were to do
start
long shot, I would think so. I don't know who else would start for them. I mean, Jaren Jackson's definitely not a typical center. I think I like the Reed Shepherd just because that to me should be the favorite, and the fact that he's not, I think I like getting a little bit of odds on that. I do like the Matas one. I think that's the healthy balance of like you're getting a good payout and I'm really likely. Baby. And then why not throw some on Tristan Da Silva because he will be a good scorer. And at the very least, I think he's got a good shout to at least put you in the race.
One name that I skipped over, Chris, and this might be something because they're going to be good. Rob Dillingham plus 1,800.
And just lay a little bit on that.
I mean a little bit.
That's some couch money right there. You just kind of throw that and you see what happens. I mean, that's just like a free lottery ticket almost. I mean, what because they need offense. Yeah, he is it, right? He is an offensive weapon. You can definitely see how maybe Mike Conley gets a little bit older this year. Just in general, it starts to feel the age a little bit. Maybe they just go to a Dillingham. Oh my gosh, that lineup could be Dillingham, Edwards, McDaniels, Towns, Gobert. That could be insane. And he can be a big part of that. If they're the 1 seed and he's a starter and he's averaging 12 points a game, I mean, that's a really good track to potentially be rookie of the year. And he's got more than 3 times the odds of Zach Edey. I mean, we're just giving out free knowledge here. That's all I'm saying.
That is a good one. Ron Holland at plus 2,000, Khalil Ware at plus 2,000.
Maybe.
So a lot of different, why is Donovan Clingan? Donovan Clingan has like the 6th best odds. I don't get that at all.
Yeah, they have way too many centers. I mean, they still have Rob Williams. They still have DeAndre Ayton. I mean, I guess the thought is that they took him so high that they're going to play him and they're not going to be good. And so maybe he'll get a ton of minutes. But again, it feels like it's a bit of a leap to say rookie of the year. In order to be rookie of the year, you probably have to be the best or the second best player on your team. And you're going to have to get a lot of minutes, and neither of those feel like that's in Donovan Clingan's future.
Another guy, Chris, at plus 1,100, just because they have all of the primetime matchups. A guy who was somebody we didn't think would be available. He ended up dropping. Dalton Connect at plus 1,100. It's going to be in the spotlight a lot.
Yeah.
Might
it probably takes less.
Protect yourself, right? And just put something on that.
Yeah, I mean, it would probably take less performance for him to get there than anybody else because he does have the Laker boost, and people will be hyping him up to levels that we've probably never seen before if he goes crazy. So, yeah, I mean, that's probably a good one too. The problem is you just have to root for it, and I'm not doing that. Never.
Coming up next, we continue the Hoops conversation with the Hoop Collective as they give their thoughts on the Sacramento Kings. Here's the thing. National media, they've been pretty nice to Sacramento. Well, that is going to start to end a little bit in this next segment. Let's get into it. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
What's the missing piece for the 49ers?
Which names will they add during free agency? Whether it's in season or off season, the coverage never stops. Get the latest 49ers news on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Hey everyone, it's Ted from Consumer Cellular, the guy in the orange sweater, and this is your wake-up call. If you're paying too much for wireless service, you don't have to keep having that nightmare. Consumer Cellular has the same fast, reliable coverage as the leading carriers for up to half the cost. So why keep spending more than you have to? Seriously, wake up! and call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com.
Savings based on cost of consumer cellular single line 1, 5, and 10 gig data plans with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plans offered by T-Mobile and Verizon January 2024.
Ulta Beauty's 21 Days of Beauty event is back. From now until September 19th, score over 200 daily beauty steals at 50% off in every category. And check Ulta.com daily to get them all before they're gone. Take 50% off bestsellers from brands like Estee Lauder and Supergoop. Plus, say hello to new finds from brands like Dyson and Sol de Janeiro. And Ilia is now at Ulta Beauty in select stores and online. Shop in-store at Ulta.com or try pickup today. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful. Conditions apply while supplies last.
Model year-end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year-end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to folsomlakehonda.com. Your one-stop Honda shop.
The 90th annual Marysville Stampede is coming to Marysville's Cotton Rosser Arena this Saturday and Sunday. It's a whole weekend of the best pro rodeo action for the whole family. Bareback, saddle bronc, and bull riding. Plus the BMX motorcycle show. It's just $25 for adults and $15 for kids 4 to 12. The 90th annual Marysville Stampede, Saturday at 5 p.m. and Sunday at 3:30 p.m. at the Cotton Rosser Arena in Marysville. Get your tickets at MarysvilleStampede.com.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
No look, Bibby to Weber down the lane, flying jam. There's your play of the night right there. It's inside is Sabonis, a two-hand rip, a brilliant pass from De'Aaron Fox.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Sacktown Sports.
I'm Nate Littlefield, and this is your Pro Core Championship update brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishings. Well, we do have a bit of movement since our last check-in an hour ago, but JJ Spawn is still in first place, tied with Patton Kazire, and then we have no more ties for third place. It's just Minwoo Lee at 9 under, and the gentleman tied for first are 10 under. These updates brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality. Now we get to the third hour of Stiles and Watkins.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
It's not terrible what the Hoop Collective, Brian Whitworth and crew had to say about the Sacramento Kings, but we've heard better. We've heard worse when it comes to the projections and predictions for the Sacramento Kings. This is from the Hoop Collective podcast as they break down their thoughts on the Sacramento Kings.
You have Sac in this tier too?
Sacramento's such an interesting team to me because I think they have the highest floor and the lowest ceiling of all these teams. I think they're going to be right around. This is just how it's we're good. Around 48, 49 wins. They're going to be a really good regular season team. They're going to be incredibly hard to play on a nightly basis. Mike Brown will have them guard better than their talent shows. They've got De'Aaron Fox and DeMar DeRozan to give the ball at the end of games. Those guys are going to be good in clutch situations at the end of games. Those guys are all healthy. We'll go back again to the durability thing. DeMar never misses games. Sabonis never misses games. De'Aaron Fox is pretty healthy. They should be available. They should win a lot of games in the regular season. I think they'll make the playoffs. Wouldn't shock me if they finish 5th or 6th. And I think they'll lose in the first round because I just don't think they have the ceiling beyond that.
I think they'll make the play in, and we'll see about playoffs. It ain't going to be easy to make playoffs in the West. The question, obviously, how's it going to fit with DeRozan? That's one thing. But for the Kings to be able to get out of that tier, Keegan Murray's really got to take a leap. And I know that there was optimism about him as, hey, maybe he can be, or hopefully he can be the third star on that roster alongside of Sabonis and and Fox. And again, it's kind of like the Austin Reeves thing. By no stretch of the imagination was he bad last year. Like he had a solid year. He had a pretty good year, but he didn't. He was a 15-point, 5.5 rebound guy. Like he's got to be that. He wasn't anywhere near star territory, and for them to be more than I think a 7 to 10 type of seed, I think he's got to really make a jump.
Well, and the other guy,
they're going to score.
The other guy,
they are going to score.
They are going to score. The other guy that's hugely important to them is Keon Ellis, who is, I think, pretty much locked into being their starting shooting guard. And he shot near 40% from 3 last year and can really guard people. And if he can prove to be even a 37% 3-point shooter on real volume, let alone higher, who can guard, like A, critical piece for them, and B, whether you're talking about the Lakers or all these other teams, like that's the thing everybody's looking for is a wing who can really shoot it and can guard people. And if he can step in and do that next to De'Aaron Fox and DeMar and Sabonis, because
don't forget Malik Monk's going to get a lot of those minutes.
He will play, but he's not going to start. And
he's one of the best bench players in the league. That's his role.
I agree, but they need somebody to be able to guard the best player on the other team. And if Keon Ellis can do that, that is a material changer of what the ceiling is for the Kings in terms of what they can do. If he's a real, if he can become Danny Green for them.
The note there about them essentially just assuming that it's going to be Keon at the 2.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's just a straight up, these are national guys. Do you think that's an assumption just in general based on what we all watched? Or do you think that could be sourced at all?
No, I would think that's an assumption. I would guess that it's just that he ended the season as the starter and then he finished the season, playing really well too. It wasn't like it was just, hey, let's get by with this guy. I think it's that he played well enough.
Yeah.
That I think it is just an assumption, but I still think it's a good one. But
okay.
Yeah. That's all I read from that.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, everything they say is pretty fair to me. I mean, they're just talking at the bottom of the playoff, right? 4, 5, 6. I think they're talking more 5 or 6.
And then they talk 7, 10.
Well, yeah, and then they talk playing. Yeah, I think we've done this exercise in a couple different ways, Chris. I mean, I think there are the teams that we know are going to be in there, and then there are the teams that most are assuming are going to be in there, but me and you, we're not, right? And that's a lot of people are assuming the Mavericks.
Yep.
I'm not assuming them. A lot of people are assuming the Nuggets. I'm not assuming them. And I guess that last team, Chris, and correct me if I'm forgetting a team, I feel like a lot of people off this Olympics thing are very high on the Suns.
Oh, sure.
A lot of people are slotting in the Suns, but that's 3 teams right there. The teams that we know that we respect the heck out of, the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Timberwolves. Those are the only 2 that we know are kind of locked in. The rest of them, we talked about this earlier this week. The rest of them, I don't know. If you want to give, they're putting in the Mavericks because they just went to the finals, so now that's 3.
Yeah,
and they're putting in the Nuggets because they're champs, so that's 4. And that's essentially what they're doing.
Yeah, sure,
right,
absolutely, yeah. I think the thing that I'm also reading is just in general, no faith. Like even if even when they say, like, it wouldn't surprise me if they are a 5th or a 6th seed, they're still probably going to lose in the first round. And I think that's the thing that I still haven't really heard from the national media perspective. Even the Stephen A, I think it's going to be Sacramento, the sleeper in the West. We haven't heard anybody go out there and say, like, no, Sacramento not only is possibly a good regular season team, but I actually don't see why they can't make it a difficult out for the Denver Nuggets, why they can't make it a difficult out for the Dallas Mavericks. It just feels like everybody is still in the mindset of, even if the Kings are good, it's just cute. That's it.
Right.
It's just an adorable little story that's going on over there. There's nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to be concerned about. It's all fun. And even if it isn't fun, well, then you don't have to worry about them anyways. But the general, and it's not in their tone, but just in the way that they talk about the team, you can tell they don't really believe that they're going to contest against those OKCs, against those Minnesotas. And like you said, I mean, it might even be that middle class of tiers that you listed out there too. To me, it's just the general vibe of, even if they're good, even if the regular season goes well for them, whatever. I don't think of them as a real contender. That's what I hear from more so the quotes than the exact tone of the conversation. Because I would say, I would say in general, the tone of the conversation relatively is positive. They are not saying, hey, we don't know if the King, I guess McMahon says in there, they might be a play-in, but there's not really much question of, well, the Warriors, are the Kings even, where do they fall in their division? Are they the worst team? Like, there's not much negative tone to the conversation, but again, the words that they're saying, when you see them, especially written out, it does just kind of speak to a general level of unimpressiveness.
It sounds like to me this team has stunk for a very long time. I'm happy for the fans that they don't stink anymore. Yeah. They win some games, they light their beam, and it's a cute story. I mean, that's how they feel, right? They're not taking, and we've talked about this before with DeMar DeRozan coming back, or coming to the team. Can he make them into a legitimate contender where people respect you at a different level? The Kings are just simply not respected in a way that, honestly, they haven't garnered that respect yet. You have to earn some of that respect.
They didn't even really talk much about DeRozan.
Then they don't.
A little strange.
Yeah, and to me, Chris, you know what it is. We go through puberty and things like that when you're in middle school and high school, and it's nice. No, hold on now.
You just wake up one morning and you're like,
just hold on.
What's going on?
This is crazy. I'm gonna bring it like, whoa, it's crazy. Well, hold on now. I'm gonna bring it all around, because right now, if somebody calls you cute, that's nice, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'd rather be called cute than the opposite of cute, but you want to be called handsome.
Yeah.
Right? You want to be called handsome. And right now, the Kings are not being called handsome. No. They're being called cute.
Or hot.
All right? Or hot. They're definitely not
If someone called you cute, you're taking it as disrespect, Alan.
Well, yes. But and the Kings should take it
Man
as
or
disrespect.
woman, it doesn't matter.
But they have to prove. Hey, they have to go out there. They got to dress up nice. They got to get their shape right. They got to get hot, and they got to.
They need, as the kids say, a glow up.
They need a glow up. They need some riz. They need some aura so that they can be considered handsome. Right now, they're just cute. All right, of the Love Island.
Yeah, they're friend zoned right now.
They are friend zoned right now. So they got to figure it out.
They're so nice. Like I love them.
Yes.
Oh my god,
you're gonna
who would be great for you?
Yes.
You know who would be awesome for you?
Not me.
Not me. Definitely not me.
Yeah.
But there's so many people you would be a catch for.
Yes.
So many people would die to have
my unbearable friend.
Yes. I want to get there, but I just can't get there with you.
Yeah.
But somebody will.
But it's more on me.
Yeah.
It's what I don't like.
I need to work on things. I need to work on things. So how can the Kings convince the NBA world that they are handsome? That's what this comes down to.
I prefer hot over handsome.
All right.
Sexy. I feel like you tell kids that are in a suit for the first time, oh, you're so handsome. Look at you.
Yeah.
Is that a bow tie?
The King's going to be hot.
Yeah, we need to be hot.
Yeah.
We need to be hot in these streets.
Yeah.
Come on. I need
like
Shannon Sharp to be looking at us.
Oh.
Hey, come on. That's how hot
true.
I want us to be.
Hey, I'm just glad you went
I want
there.
this to be as hot as an Instagram live from Shannon Sharp.
I mean,
have you guys changed some more news? Have you guys think leaning more towards conspiracy on that?
I have a lot
There's
of friends.
a lot of people who are going
me,
conspiracy route on that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just checking in. Just getting.
I won't say I have made any sort of determination on it, because that also requires watching the film, and I'm not. Saw it once.
Let's have a bro tape sesh. Let's watch some tape together.
Just grind film.
As a show,
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Just get better. That's
We're
how
all
they
gonna
say
go over
the
to
only way to
Chris's
get
house.
better is
Yeah.
watching film.
Go over to Chris's house, get some food.
Get the surround sound going. Open up the windows.
Partners not invited.
Oh, no way.
no
This
way.
is a bro grind.
No way.
Okay.
There is another clip from the Hoop Collective that we're going to play. Also, we're going to get into the details from De'Aaron Fox's shoe in Sac State, trying to get into the Pac-8. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
And Logan Ryan picks him up. Looks like they're playing man. Laporta's over there as well. It's 5 out. It's empty on 4th down. Goff back. Not going to get out to his right. Being chased. Throws, and it is incomplete. The 49ers take over on 4th down again.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
It's better over here. If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
Get your tickets for the Marysville Stampede September 14th and 15th at MarysvilleStampede.com.
Coming from the Hoop Collective, Brian Windhorse, McMahon, Tim Bontemps, the whole crew. And we went over what they said as far as their expectations for the Kings. By the way, 45 minutes we will. And speaking of, based on what we're going to play, you might want to knock out one of them. And speaking of knockouts, this September, Feel the Thunder with the Ultimate High Voltage live boxing event. You have to see to believe. All you have to do is hit up the Folsom Lake Hotline at 1 p.m. We will pick that lucky caller to see Amari Jones continue his undefeated professional career. So here is another clip from the Hoop Collective podcast on what the Kings should have added this offseason. At 916-339-1140, we open up the phone lines for the first time since JR called to see if you agree with the big three. Here it is.
And none of them have been all in for defense. They have routinely prioritized more and more offense. When I felt like what they needed was, basically size and defense. And they've gone for not really that. They go for Kevin Huerter, they go for DeMar DeRozan.
Well, Huerter was on the team before that. The problem the Kings have is the one that a lot of these teams have. Like we talked about the Lakers. I wrote a piece for Thursday and Friday on the biggest holes on the rosters of contenders in the East and the West. And for several teams, including the Lakers, it's two-way wing play. Like Austin Reeves had averaged 16 and 5 last year. If he's their main ball handler on the perimeter and they have a 3-and-D guy next to him, he looks a lot better than he's playing next to D'Angelo Russell, and you're just taking on both those guys. You look at a lot of these teams, that's the same. They all have the same flaw, which is they need more guys on the perimeter who can really guard people. Like everybody's looking for that. So who are the Kings? Like I don't think there's been a ton of guys the Kings should have gone and got. And, look, DeMar, I'm not sure how the fit with DeMar will be overall, but I can understand if you're in Sacramento and you can get DeMar DeRozan and you can try to lock yourself into being a top 6 team and you're trying to get De'Aaron Fox extended. I can understand why they did it. I don't think it materially changes their ceiling, but I do think it raises their floor and helps them try to get in the playoffs. So like you said, Tim, just getting in the top 6 in the West is hard. Like we're talking about 10 or 11 teams that we can all make an argument could finish 6th. Like obviously that ain't going to fit. So
all right, I've lost track of your teams.
So first of all, let's not bring up the Lakers if you're talking about the Kings. Can we not do that? Is it that hard?
It's
right?
in their ESPN contract.
I mean, you just literally have to. And second of all, look, I understand it. My question always is, Chris, and maybe it was a Najee Marshall or somebody like that, but it's always funny. It's just this get size and to that point, somebody corrected Windhorse who brings up Kevin Huerter. I mean, they weren't even I think nobody was even taking them seriously before they got Kevin Huerter.
No.
So let's talk post Kevin Huerter here and the acquisitions post Kevin Huerter. I mean, Chris Duarte supposed to be a good defender in theory, right? So you had Davion Mitchell, who was supposed to be a good defender. And I know they're more so talking about the wing defenders. And to that point, they don't grow on trees, right? Do you want to go out and get a Matisse Thybulle and then all of a sudden, well, the Kings are good, but man, their offense, they just can't make a shot. I mean, I feel like it's easier to look at Vanderbilt, who hasn't even played for the Lakers, and I guess he turned down whatever the heck is. Yeah. That guy cannot hit. He cannot shoot the basketball. He cannot score. So you're asking these guys. I think that a lot of the talking heads out there, funny enough, they downplay that you can't just be a complete nothing offensively in this day and age. So you got to find somebody that can defend. But when the other team says that dude can shoot, we'll let that dude shoot, and you can sit in the corner and brick all day. I don't think they talk about that enough, which is why Keon is so important. But go out and get a Andre Roberson, go out and get a Matisse Thybulle, and just have somebody that Jared Vanderbilt, I'm gonna lock you down but can't do anything else. Go get one, and then these guys will sit there and say, well, offensively they're one note and they need another piece of these two-way guys. They do not grow on trees.
No, not even a little bit. No, and I think that's why it's so important. I don't necessarily agree. I think I agree with the take that Keegan Murray has to take a leap, but they were kind of making it sound like that leap has to be Keegan going from 15 to like 20 a game. And I just think that it is more so kind of the thing that you're describing. It's more so finding Keon and probably Keegan as well, being that defensive stopper that perfectly, like you said, is also a really big offensive threat as well. It's having the combination of both and not having to sacrifice one, because the Kings have tried to go with those Matisse Thybulle thought process of the KZ Okpala, the Mo Harkless, and it didn't work. It didn't work quickly, and they ended up shifting to more of an offensive thing because at the end of the day, just like you said, you can't just have, especially when your offense has to be great, like the Kings. The Kings, their bread is buttered by their offense being elite. You can't have somebody just be a complete liability and essentially be playing 4-on-5 on the offensive end. It just doesn't work. It ends up boggling things up. And like you said, they'll just leave you wide open to take those bad threes and to essentially get you out of your offense and say, would you rather work really hard, stay within your offense, and maybe get a tough look because we're guarding 5-on-4? Or would you take the open look from this guy that we all know is going to be a 30% three-point shooter, and maybe today will be his day, but more than likely he's a 30% three-point shooter. He's probably going to shoot 30% from three. I think that that's kind of the really tough balancing act, and perfectly like you said, I think that's what makes Keon so important, is that he is that defensive stopper that they were wondering about at the end of the first clip. Who's going to be the person who plays against the other team's best player? That is Keon Ellis, and hopefully Keon can continue to shoot at the level he's been shooting at, because that makes him really hard to take off the floor.
All of the guys that get named nowadays, Chris, they all can at least shoot the basketball, right? Well, a guy whose name is popping up to me, and he's part of the reason that the Pelicans are willing to move off of Brandon Ingram, is Herb Jones, right? It's not Herb Jones. He can shoot that corner three. Yeah. He's not going to do much more than that, but he's such a dog defensively. He can hit the corner three. Going back a couple years, I'm going to go there because I saw it firsthand. GP2, he played in that dunker spot and he could hit some corner threes. If he couldn't do that as a guard that can't dribble, I don't care how good he locks up Ja Morant. You're not playing. Right. So the idea that these guys can just come out and we just need a one dude who just be a dog and pass him up and down. Same thing with Jonathan Kuminga. They wanted to put him on the island. He couldn't do anything offensively, and that was the issue. So I ultimately think it's nice to say, go get a guy. Okay, well, who's the guy? And who was the guy this offseason specifically that the Kings could have got instead of DeMar DeRozan that would have raised everything? And we're also talking about a situation where their offense had issues. You chuck up a bunch of threes and you weren't making them. And we could sit there and say it was a down year for Kevin Huerter, which is true, and De'Aaron Fox cooled off, but they're trying to figure out their identity. So you need to figure out a couple of different things. So if you can add defense, sure, but you also need to make shots. That just like what you're saying, Chris. So I think you could tell every team, they need to go get a defender. But the elite defenders that we talk about in this game, they can still do things. Look at your boy, Alex Caruso. If Alex Caruso couldn't do anything offensively, we would not look at him the same way. Jonathan Isaac, we saw him firsthand, how he's able to shoot the basketball. These guys that are good defenders, most of that are the guys that are actually going to make a difference. They can do some things offensively. Or we're talking about a guy who, Matisse Thybulle, where is he in the rotation? Where is he in a playoff rotation? Okay, we don't even know what part of the rotation he's in on the Blazers, let alone on a playoff team. So I think it's easy to say that these guys don't grow on trees. The OG Anunoby, right? These guys, they can do things offensively. And I'm not saying an OG Anunoby because obviously that's why he's getting cashed out the way he is. But these guys that are good defenders, all that means is that you're really, really good on defense. That does not mean that you are completely useless on offense. And I think that just doesn't get discussed enough. We got some calls coming in from David and Steven. We will get to them on the other side. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles the man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you know that these days, generating growth is a challenge. By teaming with Bank of America, you'll not just stay ahead of the curve, you'll move it. With access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America NA.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and I have a serious heart condition called hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, or HCM. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. I still had symptoms on my beta blocker, so I asked my cardiologist about any treatment advances. It was a breakthrough for me. That's why I'm working with Bristol Myers Squibb to raise awareness about HCM and to help others like me. Talk to your cardiologist today and visit hcmrealtalk.com for more information.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb.
It's your boy Drapes, Kyle Draper from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. I just love my new Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV. You know, I used to have a Tesla for a number of years, but it felt like I was sitting at the kids' table. When I got my Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV, I finally felt like I had made it. I was sitting at the adult table. If you don't believe me, go test drive one for yourself. As soon as you hop in, you'll notice the comfort, the luxury, just the overall feel. Make the short drive down I-5 to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton or go online anytime at mbofstockton.com.
Sponsored by Xfinity Internet. Enjoy ultimate control of your home network. Personalize your Wi-Fi name and password. Assign user profiles. View and control connected devices and more with the Xfinity Internet app.
It's a myth to think you don't play golf well enough to get fitted for golf clubs. The professionals at the Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio would argue that playing the game with golf clubs properly fitted to your body and swing characteristics is the best way to improve your game and have more fun on the golf course. With a professional staff of fitters, all the major brands of equipment, and cutting-edge technology featuring TrackMan, the indoor-outdoor Hagen Oaks Player Performance Studio is worth a look. See for yourself, Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway. Schedule your fitting at 916-808-2531, 808-2531.
Sacramento, Dierks Bentley's coming to town.
Getting drunk on a plane.
For his only show in California this year, Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park for Country in the Park 2.
What was I thinking?
And he's bringing some friends. Carmelie.
You want to close your eyes for this.
Tyler Rich. Dasha.
Did your boobs stop working?
And more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by the California Army National Guard and Red's Pizzeria and Tap House.
It's the home opener for Sacramento State Hornets this Saturday, 6 p.m. kickoff versus Nichols. Get your tickets at hornetsports.com.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
30 minutes until we give away tickets to Amari Jones, Thunder Valley, boxing in Sacramento. You can't miss that. I'm not missing it. Christopher Ladd has to miss it. He's got to work. Christopher Ladd wanted to be there. That would have been a lot of fun, man.
I kind of screwed him over on that.
Well, we won't get into all that.
There's the
scheduling thing. But I say all that to say that they're hot tickets, man. They're hot tickets, and the fur coat, the fake fur coat, will be in attendance as well, and I will enjoy
I think it's
a
gonna
nice
be fun.
ribeye. It's going to be a good time, and you can be there in 30 minutes when we give away tickets. We were having conversation about the defense and the defensive questions for the Sacramento Kings. Then we're going to get into the Sac State Pac-12 conversation. What a beautiful time to be in Sacramento. I'll tell you that much.
Weather
is a beautiful time, literally and figuratively. Let's get to David, 916-339-1140. Same number you'll use to get those tickets to the Thunder Showdown. David wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, David? What you got for us?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on, huh?
Of course.
Two quick things. For one, this is a prior conversation, but I call myself the cynical optimist. So I'm a fence sitter when it comes to the way people treat each other, and then, how my team does. So
I hear you.
The other part is, I don't think I want to see any new faces on the Kings. We have enough talent and ability that if everybody does their job, we'll be just fine. The problem is there's too much failure to get everything situated, and it's not running like a well-oiled machine. So once we integrate DeMar DeRozan into the mix and we start hitting our shots and playing team defense, then I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, that's a great call, David. Thanks for calling in, and please keep calling. And that's really where I think you and I are at, Chris. Training camp is, it feels like it's next week at this point. The time is just flying by. We're almost halfway through September.
2 weeks till Monday.
Yeah.
From Monday.
Yeah.
Media day.
The big names and anybody else getting added to this team, that ship has sailed. We were more so just reacting to how national media was reacting to the moves that the Kings did make, right? And at this point in time, I don't even know, Chris. I'm not a fan, and I've made it very clear I am not a fan of the trade deadline deals. I'm just not a fan of the fact that we have all these conversations and then just not a ton seems to happen. But I think that the Kings are going to go in. They're going to be in a situation where it's okay. We either have really overachieved, then we're going to feel like we don't need to add anybody and mess anything up, or we're going to underachieve and everyone's going to know we're desperate and what happens to those price tags. So I don't know what's going to happen there as far as any quote unquote big names, the Brandon Ingrams of the world and the Jimmy Butlers and guys like that. I think maybe, Chris, if it feels like our offense is cooking and we just, McDaniels is just not work. We just don't have anybody. When you get up against a guy, the Paul Georges of the world, and Keon is just not big enough for them. And DeRozan, it's just turning into a track meet. We just need one more guy that can you stand in the corner for a little bit and just annoy them for a bit. Yeah, Jared. When I talk bad or down about Jared Vanderbilt, it's more about the price tag and when the national media is talking about how much talent the Kings have. No, yeah, okay, the Kings don't go and get DeRozan and trade for Jared Vanderbilt. What are we talking about? You know what I mean? But as far as adding something to a rotation, and if it feels like we just need a stopper and we have enough offense that he can sit in the corner because the other four guys are so good that even the double or whatever is happening, that can't work out, yeah, then go get you a Matisse Thybulle and we'll go from there. But we got to see, Chris. We got to see first.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that this team is probably not going to make a big move at the deadline, if I had to guess. Like you said, they just are so full, and I think a big move is probably just not going to happen. It would just be a pretty big change for this team, and I more so mean a big name. Like I do think a Dorian Finney-Smith or whatever, we'll say a Cam Johnson. Like I don't think that would classify as a big trade or a big name, but
nowadays
it could have really big impact.
Yeah.
And I think that's the bigger thing. If something is going to happen, I do think it'll be obviously a rotation player. I don't think that they're necessarily in a trade going to make a move for one of those Jay Crowder or, even we'll see how Matisse Thybulle's season goes. I know he's improved his 3-point shot here in the past couple of years. Maybe if he can continue to look like a decent shooter at high 3-point volume, maybe that's a name that does start to reemerge. We've heard Robert Williams' name emerge as well. You can actually get them both from Portland as well. So I don't know. I think that there's I definitely don't, like I said, I don't think there's going to be a big name that gets moved over here. Definitely not as big as DeMar, but it wouldn't surprise me if they do kind of look at maybe the landscape of things. And if they feel positively about their team, why waste time? Why think too much about timelines and things like that? If you see an opportunity this season to get a win or at least to feel like, hey, we make the right move, we might be able to compete for a Western Conference title, I don't see why not. I mean, DeMar's, 34, 35 years old. He's not going to be around for much longer. This is, in a way, its own separate window that the Kings have opened up here, where if they see the opportunity, why not jump on it? So I don't think that's what's going to happen, but it also wouldn't surprise me if the Kings are better than what we all expect, and they maybe see an opportunity here to skip the line a little bit.
Yeah, and the one thing that you never think about, but is always a possibility, and there's a Western Conference as a whole being really healthy last season besides the Grizzlies, but then you have what happened to the Grizzlies, and then all of a sudden what if something happens to one of the teams that we've slotted in front of the Kings, and then that changes. Hey, we might just want to try to go for it right now. Sure. and strike while the iron's hot. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Steven, our guy, wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Steven? Happy Friday. What you got for us?
Happy Friday to you boys, man. It's been a while. Hope you guys are doing well.
Yes, Same to you, man.
Hey, appreciate that. So my question is, again, I always come with noob questions, but my question is defensive effort, defensive skill. Now, these are some of like the best basketball players probably in the world. I don't necessarily know what the official roster number is as like a combination throughout the league. So let's say 1,000. I don't know. Let's say these are like the best 1,000 basketball players in the world. Period, point blank, end of story. The NBA is the cream of the absolute crop. Why is defense so tough? Why is it a tough skill for a lot of these basketball players to pick up? Why is it difficult for a lot of these guys to comprehend? If you guys are kind of like getting my drift here. I know vision and instinct and stuff like that, being twitchy, being quick physically. I know that definitely plays a part in it. But mainly my question to you, basically my question is, why is there so few defensive specialists in the league? And why isn't there more of it? I mean, it's kind of a baffling thing for me because, again, these are the best basketball players in the world. But going against the other best basketball players in the world, I guess it's a matter of balance. Like one kind of outweighs another kind of a thing. So,
right.
I think I've made my point. I'm kind of spinning in circles here. I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you.
No, thanks for the call, Steven. I'm me, Chris. I'm always going to try to pull it back to baseball in some way, and I don't even know if I can on this one because you don't
have to. It's a basketball question.
Well, I'm just trying to think because there's defensive replacements that'll come in, right?
Sure.
And the reason they're defensive replacements is because they can't hit, and it's not a matter of that they focus on defense more. I think we've had the conversation just as far as some of what Steven was talking about. Some of it is effort. I don't think all of it is effort. I think it's effort to be.
Well, it's hard. I mean, how about we just start at the fact that like these guys are crazy good athletes and they're not mind readers, right? Like if LeBron James decides in his head, hey, I'm going to hit him with a little crossover, step back, and then I'm going to drive to the lane. How are you supposed to know? All you're doing is just reacting to everything he's doing. And so if LeBron's doing it, if he already knows what he's going to do in advance and he's just executing a move that he's practiced, 1,000 times, I mean, how are you supposed to stay in front of that with his speed, with his strength, with everything that goes into it? It's just really hard. I mean, think about, we can do a different sport. Let's do football, right? Like, let's do man-to-man corners on the outside. Justin Jefferson is going to be able to, or whatever. Here, I won't use Justin Jefferson. I'll use Brandon Ayuk because he's an elite route runner, right?
Oh,
he's the most elite route runner in the NFL. So we'll use the great Brandon. We'll use the $30 million receiver, Brandon Ayuk, since he's so great. If you have him single covered on the outside, he knows the route that's going to happen. He knows, hey, maybe this is going to be the quarterback's going to pump fake it, and then I actually run a go route. It's just all reacting, and you obviously are just in offense, defense. You're in a defensive mindset to where you're just doing all that you can to keep somebody in front of you. You're just shading them. And, if they are faster than you, if they're stronger than you, if they just have a better idea of how to execute than what you're showing, they can beat you. I mean, you're just naturally playing on your heels.
And how the game is called.
It's impossible how the game is called. I mean, the spacing of everything as well makes it a lot more difficult for help defenders as well, because you are a little bit more isolated. And also, offense has just gotten to a crazy level. Like we saw it in the NFL a couple of years ago. All the passing numbers were up. Everything's crazy. And then naturally at some point here, everything will shift back the opposite way. The pendulum will swing. And now week 1, we see 6 people over 200 yards. I'm sure at some point here, the NBA is going to, and we already saw it at the end of last year, right? They already started to call the game differently. You saw less foul calls and a lot more physicality. I think at some point here it's going to swing. But I mean, the short answer is these guys are so athletic, and the offensive skill has just gotten to a point where there's nothing you can do. I mean, you can even defend well, and guys will still hit shots in your face.
Well, and I think the bottom line is what we've been talking about, right? I mean, the level of defender that you need to be in order to be able to play and not really have an offensive game. I mean, it's a very high level, right?
You're also exhausted for that reason too. If you play any amount of offense, if you have offensive responsibility, you're not Superman. Your gas tank's going to run out.
And where we're at with the league right now, and maybe it hasn't always been like this, is literally it just brings us back to our initial point. You have to be able to do something offensively. Mm-hmm. So to Steven's point, I mean, you could somebody wants to sit there and practice defense all day long, that's fine. But if you can't make if you are a 3, that's a 3-and-D guy, mm-hmm. right? Unless we're talking a center or something like that. But if you are and you have to have a certain amount of size, like you can't even really be 3-and-D if you're under 6'5". Now, I mean 6'4", mm-hmm. right? I mean, you got to be a guard, right? And if you're a guard, what do you have to do? You got to score. So it's not as simple as I'm going to lock myself in a gym and just practice defense every day. So because of that, it then gets thrown to the wayside, and then it becomes guys who, they work on it, but they do more so have a knack for it. If you look at a Kevin Love or Kevon Looney, these guys have knacks for rebounding. Some guys have knacks for defense, and I feel like it's those guys raising their level versus, okay, I'm going to lock myself. And Keon Ellis, I think, is a good example of this, because Keon, he'll tell you he was a scorer at Bama, right? And they said, well, you get to the league, you're going to need to learn how to defend. And Keon was able to, he happened to have some of those knacks defensively and not lose his shot offensively. But that's why Keon is the definition of found money, because you don't see that a lot. You just ultimately do not see that a lot. Coming up next, we get into Sac State, as they are looking to get into the FBS and more, Mountain West or Pac-12. We discussed De'Aaron Fox's new release, not the actual release of his shoe, but the new photo, and we give our thoughts on it. And in 15 minutes, we give away tickets to see Amari Jones at the Thunder Showdown at Thunder Valley. Live boxing here in Sacramento. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Model year-end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year-end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
When an overwhelmed injury victim calls Ashton or Price, we immediately remove their legal burden and introduce them to the very best medical care in the region. They focus on their health, and we handle all the rest. When they reach the end of their medical journey and are reunited with happiness and hope, we unleash our decades of legal experience to obtain maximum compensation. We are real, local, experienced litigators and snappy dressers too. Consultation's free, and there's never a fee until we win.
Remember,
For the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
The feet have a really big impact on how the rest of the body moves. The knees, the hips, the lower back especially. If the foot isn't properly aligned, all of these joints are going to function incorrectly. That results in a lot of muscle tension and chronic pain. What I really like about the Good Feet system is that the right arch supports can put the foot in its proper alignment. So all the joints up the rest of the body will be aligned properly as well. And when the body's aligned, we can reduce the risk of injury and chronic pain.
Come to the Good Feet store now for a free fitting and test walk.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Live and local. Live and local. This is Sacktown Sports.
$15 minutes. Hip hop. Until we give away tickets to the Thunder Showdown.
You good?
I can't look at Nate, man. I just can't look at Nate.
Why?
I can't look
He has
at
a
him.
really big smile on
No,
his face.
yeah.
I'm ugly.
He had lunch. He's in a great mood.
Alex gets so mad when we eat.
This September, feel the Thunder with the ultimate high voltage live boxing event. You have to see to believe. All you have to do is hit up the Folsom Lake Honda hotline at 1 p.m. in 15 minutes. If you're on the app, switch on over. You will score the last pair of tickets, and then we are week of fight. You know, guys, before I mess up my Achilles, I was starting to get into boxing a little bit.
Really?
Okay. Are you gonna bring up what you told us this morning? You're planning on doing?
Oh yeah, your league.
Well, no, I was kidding about that.
Oh, it didn't seem like it.
No, I know, but I was thinking I do have a bit of a boxing body type. What if I'm good?
You'd have to lose weight, like lose muscle.
I'd have to lose a lot, but what if I could make some cash on the side in a boxing league?
Get CTE on the side.
You wear the helmets in those leagues, I'm sure.
The
headgear or something? Yeah.
916-339-1140. Is there a Sacramento under 40 boxing league?
I don't know if there's any league.
What is my path?
These guys should probably take a class first.
Yeah. I know I'm
going
to be good. I did 9-round once.
Oh, nice.
Oh, there you go. Well, never mind then.
Once. I did it once.
Is there a path for me to make a lot of money boxing? Is there a safe path for me to make a lot of money boxing?
The under 40 league guys who've been training since they were 4 years old.
You want to do an under 40 league as well?
Well, yeah, between 30 and 40.
Oh, see, now you're
over 34 then.
Yeah.
Over 34.
Very specific.
Under 40. Headgear, safe.
Wow,
everyone has to be under 5'7".
Still hot. You know what I mean? Like still hot. Like
I think you should just take
the
classes.
Kings to be.
The UFC is going to be nuts this weekend. Speaking of fighting,
it's in
the Sphere.
Yeah.
It's in the Sphere. You got O'Malley, you got Brian Ortega.
Homeboy's been hyping it up too. Dana's been trying to make it sound like this is going to be the greatest sporting event of everybody's life. So we'll see.
Said that about UFC 200
go on there
or
300, right?
From the 916. Alan, what if someone said, "Hey, 5'9", you're cute. I want to hear that hockey story."
What if you'd be in love?
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. That'd be great.
But I'm
He wants to be
taking
handsome.
Hey,
He doesn't
5'9".
want to be cute.
I like Hey 5'9" a lot because I know how
a little
much
too
you
much.
enjoyed it.
A little much. You like that a
we
little
can do
too
like
much.
a Hey There Delilah, but Hey There 5'9".
Don't not know because if Whitey's
What's it
listening,
like
he's
in
cooking right now.
Philadelphia?
How's the weather down there?
Go
It's
to
always sunny, I
Wawa.
heard. All right, Chris, Sac State going for gold here with Pac-12 for the Mountain West. Front office was all over this. You have some notes for us.
Yeah, yesterday Front Office Sports came out with a report that as we were talking in the morning about Sac State, or I'm sorry, about the Pac-12 adding a couple schools. What was it? It was the likes of Fresno State, Colorado State. There was a couple other schools that joined in there as well. And that left an opening for a couple of spots in the Mountain West, but also, hey, is the Pac-12 looking to add as many teams as possible? They need 2 more, I believe, in order to keep their eligibility as a conference. And yesterday, news comes out from Front Office Sports that Sacramento local politicians and business leaders are planning to launch a campaign to help Sac State get into the Pac-12 or the Mountain West. And I actually just got an update on that about about an hour ago to that tweet specifically. That coalition, I guess I'll call it, of politicians and business leaders has named themselves, has titled themselves the Sac-12 in order to make a push for the the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Sac.
So they don't
Sac Pack, you get it. A couple just to round out the reporting of yesterday. The school, Sac State, that is, would have to go through FCS through FBS transition process, just like James Madison did last year. Leaders plan to pump up Sacramento State stadium plans. New university prez, local market, and student body campaign could launch as early as this week, reports are saying. And obviously, we wouldn't want to see what we would have to see. The Mountain West or Pac-12 have interest. In order to jump from FCS to FBS, there has to be an invitation to join the FBS conference. So that's where we stand right now.
Yeah, and the teams, Chris, Washington State still in there, and you have Oregon State still in there. The teams that got added, Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, and San Diego State. And it makes sense to me. I mean, if you're gonna what are you gonna do it then? We're gonna do it big. And why mess, no offense, why even mess with the Mountain West if the Pac, if you have a chance, if you got to go through the situation, if you got to go through the process to go from FCS to FBS anyway,
shoot for the stars, right? Like you said,
you might as well try to get into the Pac-12 while you can and just build from there.
Yeah,
Why
absolutely.
not? Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me, and I think that would be awesome. One thing I do want to talk to my native Sacramentans, because obviously I'm still getting used to everything here. I saw somebody, and it was somebody who I think at least has lived in Sacramento or is connected to Sacramento. They basically said, are we getting to a point where you have the Kings, you have the A's coming for whatever amount of time, you have whatever is going on with the Republic and how MLS is always floating and in and out, whatever the case may be, and now you have Sac State trying to get into the Pac-12. They went on to say, is there a point where a city like Sacramento, based on size and just situation, is spreading itself too thin? Now, I read a lot of the comments, and
that's a really small-minded.
Most of the comments said there's no reason Sacramento can't support all of this.
Yeah,
but I wanted to ask you if there, and I don't even know what the spreading thin means, whether it's just,
I mean, I guess it's just that you can't fill all those stadiums, right? I mean, it might literally just be the math of it and maybe, some of the financials of it too. But I mean, I don't see why not. Like, I mean, and I feel like a lot of, a lot of what Sacramento brings is a rabid fan base. You can make that argument that maybe it is because it's just one team in town. But I do think just in general, I mean, you see small markets thrive all the time. I mean, the city of Portland, I know they only have a basketball team, but they also have a professional soccer team, and they have another one as well. There's, even Fresno's got Fresno State now in the Pac-12. I think that you could definitely support it. I don't see why not. Milwaukee, that's a city that's got a couple big league teams, and there's no problem or no question there. And then it's not, I mean, what do we always say about Sacramento that everybody loves and hates? It's an hour away from everything, right? Like, I don't see how that's not a major benefit for something like that. Hey, there is no MLS team currently in the Bay Area. Why wouldn't somebody come over here to see Sac Republic? There isn't really major college football besides Fresno State and I guess Cal locally. You can go Stanford as well for sure. But if you're kind of in the Stockton area or something like that,
you're not driving all the way to Cal.
100%.
You're definitely not driving to Stanford.
No, thank you. So I'm more just saying, I think there's enough people here and enough just general interest as well to where I wouldn't think it's going to be a problem. I'm sure there, without a doubt, is a point where you can reach where it's too much, but where it stands right now, I mean, we still only have the Kings, and the A's are, like you said, going to be here, but temporarily, and even then, they're here for a good time, not a long time.
Yeah, and to that point, I mean, I think the argument would be, hey, you dilute the product a little bit to what you're saying. You know, the Kings, it's so concentrated. It's all Kings. Yep. Trust me, we know being on these airways, it's all Kings. I think one piece, and I'm going geography here because I'm driving up to Tahoe after this. Okay. I think one piece that we do not talk about enough, and I've had this issue just being from the Bay Area and growing up in Concord, is, I mean, people just don't really think about what's above Sacramento and Tahoe to that point. All of those people have nothing. Yeah. They have nothing. So even when you were saying somebody, you know, from Stockton is not going to drive to Cal or Stanford, nobody, they got up above us. They have nothing. So they get an opportunity to see
Pollock
Pac-12.
Pines, man. Come on. Don't forget about the Pollock Piners.
Auburn. I mean, they get to see
the Tahoe people.
The Tahoe people. They get to go see.
Them,
they get to go see some Pac-12 football. They already have the NBA, but we talked about it with the A's. They get to go see Aaron Judge. Yeah. Name a random city that is near Tahoe or whatever. What did they think that they were going to be able to drive? Less than 2 hours to go see Aaron Judge, right? And eventually Shohei Ohtani.
Or maybe they even have family here, to your point of, like, you know, you don't have to drive. You know, it's not even necessarily I'm going to make the drive solely for that. I mean, how many people have family up in Tahoe? Exactly.
Exactly.
And while you're up there, please try and get a gauge. I've never thought of it, but, like, who is Tahoe's teams? Like, do they support? They have. I know they have the minor league hockey team that they started this year.
Yeah.
But,
whenever I go up there, I just see a lot of.
Is it like a Warrior stuff? Thing? Yeah, Giants.
See Warriors. See the usual suspects. You'll see some Dodger stuff. Yeah. Bizarrely,
it's also just like Tahoe kind of naturally is a transplant place, right? Like, there's not a lot of.
But those people are traveling though.
Natives,
right?
Exactly,
right. I don't even know who's a native. They're probably not going to be where I am.
I was shocked when I drove past Lake Tahoe High School. I don't know why. I just never considered. Oh yeah, there's like probably there needs to be a place for the 100 high school area kids to go. But I definitely feel like there's no reason why it wouldn't work. And even, you know, I just think that there's such a huge opportunity for it. And, you know, yesterday, frankly, I feel bad because as I was thinking about it when I got home, I really only focused on the football element of this. And that's kind of what is the problem when these things arise is we're talking Pac-12 for everything. And it's not just football. And so when you yesterday, I think you were trying to talk more so about the school and are they ready as a school for all their facilities? And I said, well, their football team's been better than it's been in 6 years.
Right.
Well, their basketball team, that basketball arena is, and I even think Sac State would be okay with admitting that basketball arena it's just terrible. It is not even close to the standard that a Pac-12 school should be in. And I know that should be part of it, but there's also, you know, the smaller, the diving team and things like that, like is everything that Sac State brings up to that level. We know their baseball program is definitely taking leaps and bounds.
I'm not really worried about the baseball program. Down year
that's
last
the one thing
season,
I'm not worried about at all.
Right, but the 2 seasons before, they had winning records at 30 and 20, 32 and 26 and 30 and 26, and they put out talent. You know, Reese Hoskins. They put out a couple big leaguers. So not really because if you're from this area and you don't feel, if you are a stud and you don't feel like going to Cal or you don't feel like going to Stanford, Sac State is a respectable place to go, respectable program. Now you put the Pac-12 name on it. Imagine those guys that you're losing to Cal and maybe not Stanford, but the guys that you're losing to Cal and maybe the San Jose States of the world, you know, now you're not losing them anymore because I got Pac-12. Hey, Mom, can I get Pac-12? No, you got Pac-12 at the house. Now you actually have Pac-12 at home. So I think it's great for the city of Sacramento, and we will see what the Sac-12 cooks up in the coming weeks and months. Well, let's see what we cook up. We know that Chris and I are tied and that Nate is bringing up the rear in our Pick'em League. Let's see what we do this go round. We start our preview right after we do top stories at the top of the hour. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SacktownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SacktownSports.com.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Hypertrophic cardiomyopathy is a serious heart condition. Some symptoms include being short of breath, feeling tired, or having dizziness or chest pain. My HCM impacted how I felt and what I could do. So I asked my cardiologist about treatment advances that gave me new options. That conversation was big for me. That's why I'm working with Bristol Myers Squibb to raise awareness about HCM and to help others like me. Talk to your cardiologist today and visit hcmrealtalk.com to learn more.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb.
Tired of ads interrupting your favorite news podcasts? Good news! Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Stay up to date on everything newsworthy with podcasts like The Daily, Up First, and 5 Things Uninterrupted at amazon.com/ad-free. Just head to amazon.com/ad-free to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
What's going on? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram. Chad, what's happening for Jeep Adventure Days?
Right now, save up to $12,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Dodge Charger SXTs, starting as low as $28,715. These are some of the most fun cars you'll ever drive, and there's just a handful left, so don't wait and miss your chance.
Any other big deals?
Save money and gas when you save up to $17,000 off MSRP on all remaining new 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xEs, which get up to 56 MPGE.
Don't miss this savings. See their full inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet. Period.
12,000 total net savings after 3420 factory rebates and 8580 dealer discount. Rebates may include 500 trade-in assistance. Must have qualifying trade-in. 17,000 total net savings after 4250 factory rebates and 12,750 dealer discount. Rebates include 3750 federal EV tax credit offered by third party, subject to change without notice. Consult a tax professional for eligibility. 5H net savings. See dealer for details.
Hey, listen up. This is your Sacktown Sports live events calendar. First in the lineup is the Lodi Grape Festival coming September 12th through the 15th. And then rock out to Zeppelin, USA at Thunder Valley on September 19th. On September 20th, laugh your heart out with comedy superstar Nikki Glazer at Thunder Valley. And the laughs keep on coming on September 21st with George Lopez when he takes the stage at Hard Rock Live Sacramento. If you're a country fan, you won't want to miss Winona Judd at Hard Rock Live on September 28th. And then on October 4th, comedy legend Rob Schneider is bringing the laughs to Hard Rock Live Sacramento. On October 20th, you don't want to miss Renee Vaca as he brings his hilarious stand-up to the Crest Theater. And finally, gear up for the ultimate Halloween bash with a $5,000 costume contest. It's Sinners and Saints Saturday at Thunder Valley on Saturday, October 26th. Costumes, music, and plenty of thrills. And that's your Sacktown Sports live events calendar. For details, go to sacktownsports.com. And stay locked on to Sacktown Sports for your chance to win tickets. Do you have old baseball cards and sports memorabilia from the 50s and 60s collecting dust in your closet? They could be very valuable in any condition. Find out at the Sports Cards Roadshow. We'll be in the Sacramento area to evaluate your old and modern sports cards. Visit sportscardsroadshow.com today to schedule your appointment. Ask about your free on-site sports card evaluation. For large vintage and modern collections, we can come to you. Skip the garage sale. Sports Cards Roadshow is buying. Call 1-800-560-3272 today or visit sportscardsroadshow.com.
KHTK-AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your new home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sacktown Sports.
I'm Nate Littlefield, and this is your Pro Core Championship update. Well, right now, only one person is in first. That's Patton Kazire at 11 under. And in second place, JJ Spahn is 10 under. Third place, you have David Lipsky at 9 under. No more ties in the top 4. These updates are brought to you by Naturewood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Switch over the music. It is time for the top stories at the top of the hour. I think there's going to be a story here that kind of takes over most of this segment, but we are going to get through all of them. The first one, Chris, very bizarre, and we're going to get to all of them right after the giveaway. And here it is, 916-339-1140. This September, feel the thunder with the ultimate high voltage live boxing event. You have to see to believe. All you have to do is hit up the Folsom Lake Honda hotline right now, looking for caller number 3, because there's 3 of us in here, looking for caller number 3 to score today's pair of tickets to the Thunder Showdown, only at Thunder Valley Casino Resort, September 21st. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, visit sacktownsports.com, 916-339-1140. 916-339-1140. 916-339-1140. They're starting to come in. We're looking for caller number 3. Caller number 3. Okay, Chris. So first on this, as Nate is handling the callers right now, and here they come. Want that ribeye. And here they come. Chris, Twins 2024 6th-round pick Derek Bender has been released less than 2 months. This is for Major League Baseball. After being drafted, Bender was telling opposing hitters what pitches were coming in a game with playoff implications. Per Jeff Passan, the team went on to lose the game, and they were eliminated. So in Jeff Passan's note, he says, Fort Myers coaches were notified by Lakeland coaches about Bender's pitch tipping following the game. Sources said Bender's willingness to tip pitches surprised Lakeland players. There are no indications of wrongdoing from the Flying Tiger. Sources said Bender had told teammates he wanted the season to be over, according to sources. This is a 6th-round pick, Chris, and he just was homesick. I guess he wanted to go home. How bizarre.
That's crazy. I kind of understand, season's coming to an end. I don't know nothing about the Twins' developmental system here, but maybe they were not doing too well in the record in the standings, and maybe he was just like, I'm just done. I've been there. I've been there with some sports, never to the point where I'm tipping off the opponent, which is where things get definitely a little bit too crazy for my liking.
Doesn't that make the game go longer if there's more offense? I'm confused.
It's a good point, too. It's definitely a good point. Yeah, I'm not sure. Not really sure what the logic is on that one. Yeah, definitely. I hope he enjoyed his months as a professional athlete, because I don't even think the YOLO high wheelers are going to take him after this one.
Hey, well, hopefully, we'll see. I guess the YOLO high wheelers and ballers, one of them is going to go to the next round here.
That's right.
After game 3 tonight. But yeah, very bizarre. Here you go, Chris. And Lil Wayne came out. It was kind of hard to dial down what part of the audio we wanted to play from this, but essentially Lil Wayne spoke for the first time since the Kendrick Lamar announcement came out, and he says, I thought there was nothing better than that stage in my city. It broke me, and I'm just trying to put me back together. He also says it hurt a lot not being selected to perform at the Super Bowl in New Orleans. He goes, that hurt a lot. I thought there was nothing better than that spot on that stage, on that platform. Yeah, so that's pretty much it, Chris. He says, I blame myself for not being mentally prepared for a letdown. And this thing, I mean, you got Nicki Minaj coming out the cuts.
Yeah, it's crazy.
This thing has really just taken on a whole nother reality. I mean, I think it ends after this. Off the top of my head, obviously they have been in New Orleans recently, and people are saying, where was the outrage then? Clearly, it's what we said. It's because now with Jay-Z behind the helm, there's been a lot more of a hip-hop feel to this thing, and people are saying that first go-round, it didn't feel the same, but now that hip-hop is to the forefront of these shows, where is Lil Wayne? But on the opposite side of it, you don't pick artists that are associated with the cities. They've never done that.
Yeah, that's where I was like, so you know that this is now going to start every single year. So, like, I looked it up. Next year, Super Bowl's at Levi's. Are we going to have to hear about how Sage the Gemini is just heartbroken?
Don't come at
Look, I had to pick somebody. Literally, I had to pick somebody. I was like, I can't say 40 because E40, like, legitimately probably, like, it's a little bit too
but that's
real.
Disrespectful to Chris.
That's what I'm saying. I had to pick somebody, and so I'm sorry, Sage the Gemini had to be the one. I'm sorry. I was going to say Pilo, but I was like, Pilo actually has some movement. I had to pick somebody who, I'm sorry, doesn't really have movement these days. But you're being
disrespectful to Wayne.
Too short. That's what I'm wondering. No, that's what I'm saying is what's the spiral of this going to be? Because now every year somebody's going to come out and say, E40. It's my city. It'd be great. It would be. I wish it'll be E40.
No. But I'm saying
the problem is it's going to be. Oh man, Kodak Black's going to say, "Hey man, Super Bowl out here in Miami, y'all ain't going to give me love," and it's like, no, we're not. We're just not.
But I think the problem is E40. He's been around a long time. E40 is not as he never had the movement that Lil Wayne had. I mean, Lil Wayne was the biggest in the game.
Yeah, I get that.
But I don't think this will be an issue. Levi's, it won't be.
It wasn't an issue before, is what I'm saying. It wasn't an issue before, and I think now he's creating an issue that never existed.
Why not Green Day? Green Day from the Bay.
Are they really? Well, there
Metallica.
You go. Yeah,
Metallica.
All these people. Why not? Oh my gosh,
this was a banger back in the day.
This was junior, senior year for me, and yeah.
My buddy said that he saw him working at a mall in Stockton.
Really?
Either right after or right before this dropped. He ain't working there no more.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think D-Max on that song too. I used to see him all the time at the Buffalo Wild Wings out in Natomas.
There you go.
All the time.
Hey, that's right by my spot.
I think he went to Sac State actually for a minute. I think I used to see him at the Elements.
Sac 12.
Sac 12.
All right. And look, we will do more of this some point next week, but we have this sound. This is from Kevin Durant, and obviously I have some things to say about this. Kevin Durant, he selects his starting five, and he does something that he's done in the past, and we're not sure why he keeps doing it. Here it is.
If you had to put together your perfect roster, starting lineup, who would y'all pick?
Bang! I'll probably go with Luka at the point. Luka, me, Bron, Embiid at my five. Because Embiid can shoot a three better than Jokic on the game. Who are my snipes? Who gonna be my four man? And then you gotta go with somebody like Clay, 6'7", he's shooting that thing like that. Yes, I would go Luka, Clay, me.
So this is it's more than the second time, but very famously.
He's also talking about 2K in this sense. Because he said in the game, because he said Jokic isn't as good of a shooter as Embiid in the game.
Does that
change? And the bang
anything?
is also him hitting a three in the video.
Curry in 2K is crazy.
He's
better than Luka.
That might be worse.
He's broken.
We gotta get 2K in the studio.
That's not.
No thanks.
Let me get to my point. I don't know why Kevin Durant. I mean, he clearly has a relationship with Steph, but he just continues to leave Steph. The big one, Chris, after he just left the Bay, was when he said it was who were your favorite teammates or who are the best guys that you played with, something like that. and Steph wasn't on that list. I don't know what it is. I think it's just a little jabs that he can throw at Steph. It's really all he has to throw. Maybe it's much ado about nothing, but it's just funny to me.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I mean, they seem to be really buddy-buddy with the Olympic run. There was that moment where he like yells in his face and all that stuff in a good way. I don't really know much about their relationship, but it is definitely strange that you would leave him off that list.
And Clay's rating in 2K cannot be that good.
I'm sure the shooting is. Maybe that's all KD does.
Yeah.
From what it sounds like, that's all he does.
And last but not least, I guess this gives us a hint as to how that workout went with the Sacramento Kings. Isaiah Thomas says he wants to play 3 more years in the NBA and believes he can still perform at a high level. I really want to just play 2 or 3 more years and then focus on my kids. That's the ultimate goal, and we're just going to keep fighting until the end. I'm still in an age where I can play at a high level. I always say that I have the same feeling going to the gym now that I did when I was a kid. I know when that goes away, it's just time to try and find something else. I'm not going to make any jokes, Chris. We've talked about it before. I'm going to give the mic to you because I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's a good hope for him. I don't think it's going to happen. He hasn't really played. Let's see here. He hasn't played more than he played 40 games for Washington in 2019-20. So we're talking pre-pandemic was really the last time Isaiah Thomas was like a impact player on a rotation, even a little bit. I just don't see it happening. I mean, maybe if he wants to, if a team thinks he can be a good vet and maybe he can stay on the end of the bench, but I just don't think the opportunity is going to come. He's been very vocal about wanting that opportunity over the course of this time that he hasn't been playing, and he's gotten a couple opportunities. He just hasn't been able to stick around anywhere. I just don't think it's going to happen unless he kind of does the G League route again and can surprise people that way. I just kind of think it's really tough to justify, let's add this 35-year-old point guard to our roster who hasn't really been in the NBA in 4 or 5 years. You
think he wants a ring or something? I mean, he's 35.
I think he just wants to play. I really do think that's it. I think he just wants to be out on the floor and actually play basketball.
I just have never wanted to be that guy to where you look around and you look at the workouts and it's just assumed, okay, well, Isaiah's still here. I'm really struggling, and we talked about it's completely different than the Tua thing, but at the same time, it's just a question of are you going to continue to make people have to tell you no?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's
what
he's
told
doing.
him no.
Yeah, I know. And I just think some people are not me, right? Because, yeah, I would quit a long time ago. Someone tells me 3 times, I'm probably giving up. I guess he's going to wait until all 30 teams tell him no.
It's just
even then, he might continue to fight for it.
It's that feeling of unfinished business and how can he move on from it real quick. And then we're going to get into NFL and our picks on the other side. This is from Rob on the Sack Chat. You guys are way missing on Nevada. UNR is huge in the Tahoe area. Yeah, Rob, I think Chris was more so talking about pro teams.
Pro teams, definitely.
Pro teams. And the idea of coming down to travel. No offense, Rob. And as you mentioned, UNLV kind of sounds like you went to UNR, which is fine.
Yeah.
Go Reno. But at the same time,
Reno. Wolfpack.
Yes, go Wolfpack. Yeah. And at the same time, I think that if people up there had a Sacramento options to get to, that besides the Kings, in addition to the Kings, they would definitely be on top of it. NFL picks when we return. Allen's going to win week 2. I'll tell you that much. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity Mobile. Connect to the most reliable 5G network nationwide. Well, it will certainly be emotional when the A's get back home to begin the final homestand in Oakland. And think of all the success the A's have had over the years at the Coliseum. In fact, the A's have the most walk-off wins in baseball beginning in 1968, including 3 on the last homestand, the home run by Shea Langoliers and 2 singles by Seth Brown.
Want to save on some of the biggest names in streaming on the network made for streaming? Now through September 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for 12 months with a 1-year contract. And for just $15 a month, add the new Stream Saver that includes Peacock, Apple TV Plus, and Netflix for just $35 a month. Switch at Xfinity.com today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay to store bank account. Equipment taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Currently $54 a month. Actual speeds vary. Stream Saver requires Xfinity internet or TV and price subject to change.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
All right. Nate says we got to stay on track because it took us a while to get through them last time, and he's right.
For once.
The
first time
in his whole life, he is right. So no more talking. Let's get right on into it. And we have the first game, guys. And this should be a quick one. And Chris, are you you're recording our picks?
I can do it.
Nate's doing it.
Nate, record our picks.
I'm trying to do my job, guys. I'm trying to change the way I operate.
Get that music going for us, Nate. Be ready. That's how I feel. All right. We'll just keep it quick on this one. No disrespect to anybody, but it is what it is. Raiders, Ravens. Raiders, it's moved, guys. According to ESPN, it's moved to -9. Okay, Ravens are favored by 9. Raiders, Ravens, let's just get this over with. No disrespect to my nation. Ravens for me.
Ravens.
I don't really care if, they would.
And I think the spread, the Ravens blew it out of the water.
I don't know about that. I think
it's a tough one.
Okay, that's your Raider fan coming through.
No,
that's just a really high number.
Yeah,
9 is crazy.
I don't know that they'll cover. I think they can win by it's either they win by 10 or they don't. It's either they win by a touchdown and a field goal or they don't cover. That's how I feel. All right, let's keep going. Just like Nate said, Chargers, Panthers. Ugh, that's what I pay for NFL ticket, huh? To see that. Chargers are favored by 5, guys, and I mean, what more do you want there? Chargers, right?
I mean, what are you? Like the Chargers are getting kind of softballs to start the season. Harbaugh's going to start 2-0.
Yep.
Shout out to Raiders.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Now that's going to be like. Now we can't even talk about the Raiders at all.
All right, Chargers. Right.
Chargers.
Let's get through the quick ones. Browns, Jaguars. I think this one is interesting. It's in Jacksonville. Jaguars favored by 3. I used my Browns pick last week where I thought that the Browns were going to impress and Deshaun Watson maybe 2 or 3 years after this situation. That's still happening, by the way. New suit came out. I'm completely off the Browns. I'll let them burn me for the rest of the season until they play the Panthers or somebody. I got Jaguars.
Yeah, I like the Jags too. I would want to like the Browns in this one, but with all the Watson stuff coming out this week, with him playing like absolute garbage last week, I feel like the Jaguars gave their week 1 a pretty good game, and I think that they're going to be a good team this year, and I do think a win against the Browns does make them feel good and like they're going in the right direction. And, I think Cleveland might be having a season from hell already.
I think the Browns are going to have to trade for a quarterback, just like I think Miami will. I think
they'll give Jameis a look.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I guess so. But I more implying like it's over with Deshaun Watson. They can't score on offense. They can score on defense. I know their defense is that good, but they're not going to win from scoring TDs on the offensive side of the ball.
There you go. Okay, next on this list, we have the Saints and the Cowboys.
Kind of interesting one.
I like this one a lot. I think this will be a good one. The Cowboys favored by 6. I don't know if I touch that, Chris. But
it's in Dallas?
It's in Dallas. It's in Jerry World, and I'm taking the Cowboys now.
Yeah, I'm taking the Cowboys. I think that the week 1 display by New Orleans was only because they were playing the Carolina Panthers. I actually think the Cowboys look really good in week 1. I could see this being a huge blowout. I actually like the Cowboys by more than 6.
It's tough, man. It's tough. Yeah, I just don't think the Saints are good. I know they put up 47 on the worst team of all time, but it's just, unfortunately, I do have to take the Cowboys again. And we're going to have to start differentiating, guys. We have all 4 of the same picks.
This one I wouldn't touch at all. Bucks at Lions. The spread is 7.5 for Detroit. It's in Detroit.
Oh, my goodness.
I think the Bucks are going to cover. I think I'm still not convinced, Chris, that the Bucks are for real. I'm going to go with the Lions.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Lions as well. Home game, I think the Lions look like a good team. I think the Rams are a good team, and the fact that the Lions for a lot of that game made them look really inferior, I was impressed. I know Baker Mayfield lit it up in week 1, but I think this is a real test, and I just think the Lions are a better team. I'm going Lions easy.
Yeah, Lions, 2 games at home, back-to-back. I think they're hot right now. They're feeling themselves after an overtime win against Stafford specifically. Going with the Lions.
7.5 is too much, though.
Yeah.
That's
Colts at Packers. Obviously, Malik Willis, his time to shine against Anthony Richardson, Chris's favorite QB that doesn't wear the purple. Colts are favored by 3 in Green Bay. This is a tough one. I'm just not really high on Malik Willis. I don't think that we're going to differentiate too much here. And the Colts looked good last week against the Texans. They just couldn't get it done. I got the Colts.
Colts easy. I think Malik Willis is going to be the worst quarterback of the week, and I think, that's not a joke. I think it's not even going to be close, and I think Anthony Richardson is going to have another spectacular performance. Looks like it's going to be decent weather out there in Green Bay. Should be no problem for the Colts.
LaFleur has his guys ready. Packers.
Boom.
That's it.
Wow. So
You're
he's
insane.
taking his. He's
You're
taking
insane.
his. I like Malik Willis early. We haven't seen much, and they picked Mayo Man over him, but I hear where you're coming from, Nate. You got to get squirrely at some point, and Nate's coming. Nate needs to make some moves, Chris.
Sure does.
All right, Browns. I already talked Browns, Jags. So next, last but not least, and this one will go quick. We can get to the other side. Niners, Vikings.
Niners.
We're just gonna wrap it up with the game.
That's how it was
the only
written.
game I care about.
That's how it was written. We can do it on the other side. It's how it was written.
Crazy. Who's putting this show together? Go Vikings. Come on. What are
There
we
you
doing?
go.
What
All
are we
right, there we
doing
go.
here? What are we doing?
There you go.
What are we doing?
So, Chris,
we spent 10
are you
minutes on
locking
these
that
guys.
in?
No, we got to get to the other side. Yes, I'm locking it in. Vikings.
Wow.
Get out of
I
here.
didn't go with my Raiders last week.
Well,
that's 'cause-
I can't. I'm cooking this.
the worst franchise.
On the other side, we get to the rest of the picks, and we give Chris some actual time to talk.
No, we don't
about
have
his
time.
back.
We don't have time.
Skull, Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sacktown Sports.
Oh my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey Sacramento, it's Malik Monk and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
As a mom, I'd do anything to keep my child out of physical pain.
Dr. Pamela Maida is a board-certified orthopedic surgeon.
As a doctor, I know that growth spurts can cause pain in my child's feet, and that can affect their legs and back too.
Good Feet Youth Arch supports are designed to alleviate, even eliminate common pain.
Investing in youth arch supports for your child or teen is one of the best decisions you can make.
Come to the Good Feet store now for a free fitting and test walk.
Sacramento Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. They believe it's all about people and choices. Their goal is to find the car that fits your lifestyle. With their huge inventory of models, they've got the right car and more importantly, at the right price every time. Experience for yourself why their customers drive away smiling. Discover the difference because it's not just about the car, it's also about the people. Experience the Sacramento Dodge Jeep and Chrysler difference off Business 80 next to Hagen Oaks, or you can find them online, sacsuperstore.com.
Sacramento, Dirks Bentley's coming to town.
Getting drunk on a plane.
For his only show in California this year, Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park for Country in the Park 2.
What was I thinking?
And he's bringing some friends. Carmelie.
I want to close your eyes for this.
Tyler Rich. Dasha.
And
And more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com.
Brought to you by the California Army National Guard and Red's Pizzeria and Tap House.
It's not hard to be a mom. It's hard to be a good mom. It's easy to be a bad mom. That's so easy. But to be a good mom is hard. To be a bad mom, that's as easy as being a great dad. That's
Nikki Glazer, Alive and Unwell Tour. Friday, September 20th. The venue at Thunder Valley. Tickets on sale now. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. She's alive and unwell. Don't miss Nikki Glazer.
Thank you. Good night. At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
Mega Chevy saves you $13,000 off MSRP on every new half-ton Silverado LTZ in stock after rebates. All of them.
Silverado savings spectacular now at MegaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. Ends 9/30/24.
Get your tickets for the Marysville Stampede September 14th and 15th at MarysvilleStampede.com.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports. 30 more minutes with you. Congrats to our winner. Nate, we got a name on the winner?
Donovan. That's our winner.
Shout out Donovan. We'll see you September 21st. Once I get the tickets, we'll probably see you September 21st. Chris.
What do you mean probably?
Don't worry. I'll take care of it. Chris, please, man. How are you feeling? I just want to know one question.
Yes.
Do you actually think the Vikings have a chance, or are you just being a good fan?
I picked the Vikings to beat the Niners last segment.
Okay. Yeah. Say less.
How does that make him a good fan, too? Like,
loyal. Like last week, I picked the Chargers. I'm not loyal to the Raiders. I wasn't loyal. But I did get a point.
It's different when there's outside forces, but sure.
All right, let's continue. Seahawks at Patriots. Patriots coming off a surprising win against the Bengals. Seahawks are favored by 3.5 in Foxborough. No clue. This one, guys, is where
Patriots have Geno's number.
Sure.
I just don't know what to do with the Seahawks.
They wrote back.
Somebody else go first.
I'm taking the Patriots.
I will not be. I will be taking the Seahawks. I think the Patriots played about as well as they can play last week. And not that the Seahawks lit it on fire, but I do think that they are competent enough to beat the Patriots. I don't think it's really any major accomplishment. The Patriots were really only supposed to win like 4 or 5 games this year. I don't think they're going to get 2 of those before we're even at week 3.
Yeah. I think if you're a Seahawks team that gets to go to Foxborough this early, right, before the weather breaks and winter comes, they have a young defense and everybody is high on that defense. The Seahawks, you're still dealing with Jacoby Brissett. I'm tempted because of what the Patriots did, but we got to see if Joe Burrow is the real deal or not. So I'm going to go with the Seahawks and give Nate an opportunity to get one on us.
Okay.
All right. Next, we have a game that I know everybody has circled. Jets at Titans. The Jets looking to bounce back from that L, and Mayo Man and Will Levis looking to bounce back from the L that they literally hand-delivered to Caleb Williams and the Bears. The Jets are favored by 3.5 in Nashville. Yeah, this is an easy one for me, the Jets. I know they're dealing with the Hassan Reddick drama, but I think the Jets are going to be decent. They may not be as close to a Super Bowl team as we thought, but I just think it said more about the Niners. I got Jets.
Yeah, I'm liking the Jets too. I think they definitely need a win. I don't think the Titans are good at all this year. We'll see. I mean, the Jets are going to have a better run defense than what they had against the Niners. Tony Pollard looked okay in week 1. I know they're splitting with Tajay Spears a bit, but that's really the only way I could see the Titans winning is if they just blow it up in the run game. I don't see that happening. I think the Jets get a win and try and get this thing on course, because if the Jets start 0-2, oh boy, our boy Bob Saleh is going to be at least in for a rough week. I know they play the Patriots the next week, but it's going to be a long week in New York if the Jets don't get this one.
It would be hilarious if the Jets didn't win.
It would be really funny.
I, for entertainment purposes, would like to see that. I think they'd be furious. I think Mayo Man could beat them if he cleaned up. Like, if he didn't throw that pick 6 last week, their win percentage went from like 60% to 13 after that, or something crazy. But still, regardless, after all that, you got to take the Jets. The talent's there. The veterans are there. The defense, I think, is there, even without Reddick. I still think Saleh's a good coach. I think we're all in the Jets here.
Yeah. It's Jets for me. Jets. Jets. Next, Commander Giants at Commanders. This is a game that
somebody's got to win.
Somebody's got to win. Giants at Commanders. With Jaden Daniels, who probably looked the best out of the rookie QBs, even if it's a pretty low bar. The Commanders favored by 1.5. I actually gave up some points last week because I took the Giants thinking maybe they do something. I will let them burn me if they do. I'm going to go Commanders here, and I think Jaden Daniels continues his play as it starts to elevate. First home game as the starting QB, I'm going Jaden Daniels, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is the game where the Giants, they're going to win some games, and this is a game that the Giants could win, but I'm going to say Commanders.
Yeah, they could. This is a good opportunity for the Giants early in the year, maybe before the Commanders can figure it out, but I think the Giants are the worst team in the NFL. They looked absolutely terrible last week. They couldn't get a single thing going for them. I actually think the Commanders are going to win this pretty easily. I do think they have way better talent. And like you said, I think Jaden Daniels actually played fairly decent last week, all things considered. And it wouldn't surprise me if he outplays Daniel Jones in the second game of his career.
Yeah, I think the Giants are the second worst team right now, but I think potential to be the first. Obviously, Panthers down there for me, really bad. However, I might take Bryce Young over Daniel Jones right now. They're both just sucks. That's a terrible situation for both parties. I got to go with the Commanders too. I guess they're a better team, and they're at home, divisional.
I have a weird feeling the Giants are going to win, but I can't. I'm not taking that chance right now.
I don't care either way, really.
I'll have to see it first. I will not just go on blind faith.
It's just straight up a game I just can't care about.
Yeah. You'll care.
Do not put this on your television.
You'll care about this one, Nate. Rams at Cardinals.
Sure.
Actually, surprisingly, maybe to some, with Puka out, I think the Cardinals are favored by 1.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Cardinals favored by 1.
It's in Arizona.
To be completely transparent with you guys, that was one of the games that wasn't being pushed towards me on the NFL ticket on the old YouTube TV. I didn't see a lot of how Kyler played. And then I know Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't do anything.
It's a lot of James Conner.
Then you come out and say that's not my job. Kyler Murray just can't seem to get out of his own way. And the Rams, they took Detroit to overtime in Detroit, and Detroit was fully loaded, and they lost Puka in that game. I'm torn on this one, guys, but I think I'm just going to go – it's not chalk because they're not the favorite, but I'm going to go Rams.
Yeah, I'm shocked that the Cardinals are favored. It doesn't make any sense to me. Like you said, the Rams almost beat the Lions, who I think a lot of people assume are the best or second best team in the NFC, and the Rams are right there with them. Granted, it took a little bit of a last-minute comeback, but I think the Rams are a good team. They're incredibly talented. They're better than the Cardinals. I think the Rams, starting 0-2 for the Rams would be pretty terrible for them, honestly, with the expectations they have this year. I think the Rams need to win this game, and I think they will win pretty easily. I don't think really not having Puka is not going to be great, but I don't think that should be big enough to have them lose this.
I don't know if the Rams necessarily need to win this one. I know it's divisional. It's just so early.
They're going to
the
show
season.
you the teams that start 0-2 have like under 15% of making the playoffs.
This is one of those teams, though, that would be
Play
the
the
15%.
Niners in week 3 too.
Well, yeah, and they'll get crushed.
But that's just
that's 0-3.
But that's just a repeat of last season where they're just, now they're going to be the sexy pick for a week and then they just lose because they got to go wild card. Like, I'm not saying they could do it, but you're not winning a Super Bowl like that.
No. With all that said, I think the Cardinals. I got the Cardinals.
Wow. I don't. Nate needs it though.
You do.
Nate's taking it.
Nate, this is week 2, brother. You don't need to take all these.
I'm having a good time, man.
There's 16 more weeks.
Okay. All right. So we are locked in there. Next, we have another game that, bless you, if you were going to put this on your TV screen. Steelers at Broncos.
Oh my gosh.
The Steelers favored by 2.5. Justin Fields, it looks like he will be taking the reins against Steelers. Favored against Bo Nix in Denver. So for me, guys, I know Bo Nix played well, but it's more about the defense to me and how much I believe in the Steelers defense and just the way that they can run the rock. I mean, I do think having Justin Fields, Najee Harris has started to refigure things out. People were starting to call him a bust and things like that. And George Pickens, even though a lot of people say Justin Fields can't throw, George Pickens, 85 yards. So I'm going to go Steelers here. Broncos, I mean, that's just based on pedigree and what the Steelers have done, surprising us against the Falcons. I'm going to go Steelers over Broncos here.
I'm really surprised that Pittsburgh's favored that much. Their defense is absolutely ridiculous. Pretty much single-handedly won them the game last week. As crazy as it is, I don't think Justin Fields can play as well as he did last week, and he only threw for 156 yards. I think he's going to turn the ball over this week. I think that Denver's got a pretty decent defense. I'm not a Bo Nix believer, but I do think that Sean Payton can probably game plan this well enough to where the Broncos can win a very boring game. I'm going to go Broncos here, and we're going to have some disagreement finally.
Wow, interesting. Yeah. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. I think their defense better. I think their offense has more potential right now. Haven't seen enough out of the Broncos. Disappointed. They should have beat the Seahawks. Really, I wanted them to, but they didn't. Steelers.
Wow. Now we're getting dicey in this. These last two will keep it dicey, guys. We go to Arrowhead as the Bengals and
Arrowhead.
Yeah, that's what they were calling it.
This one is tougher.
Takes on the Chiefs. The Chiefs favored by 6. Chiefs are favored by 6. Bengals at Chiefs. I'm not going first on this one.
Okay.
I think this is so easy. I'm very surprised that people are the Bengals look like the worst team of all the good teams in week 1, and the Chiefs handled business against the Ravens, who didn't look bad in week 1. I'm going Chiefs, and I think this is easy.
All right. Unfortunately, I'm just going to have to go with the Chiefs, too. I think it's a closer game than last week.
So you're taking the Bengals spread, probably?
Well, depending on what it is. Oh, yes. Yeah. I like that. I think they have a better game than the Bengals. They stay in. I think Burrow bounces back. However, they do start 0-2.
There you go. And last but not least,
you didn't pick.
Oh, right. Chiefs. I'm playing it safe, man. I'm playing it safe.
So you waited for me to pick, and then you played it safe.
You said you were playing it safe.
Alan has been picking first every time.
I've been picking first plenty. I've been picking first.
I think literally every one today.
I've thrown it to you guys a couple times. Last but not least, and this is an easy one, so we can get to the other side. Bears at Texans spread 6.5. Texans offense was a lot of Joe Mixon, and the Bears was a lot of nothing. So I'm going Texans. They'll probably cover.
Yeah.
But I'm going Texans.
Texans. We're going Texans.
Nate.
Texans.
You don't want to take another chance there, Nate.
Not there.
On the other side, guys, a quick note that I've been noticing as we've been going through these games. I will let everyone know what that is. Okay. We have some fun during prop talk. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1932 $10 gold Indian coins have been found. These gorgeous 1932 gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 200 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling the secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1932 dated gold coin featuring Lady Liberty with an Indian war headdress and a majestic eagle. With limited availability, you must call now. These 1932 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster. That is 92 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-495-6468. Call now and you'll receive a free bonus over a $55 value free with every order. Call 1-800-495-6468 now to secure your 1932 $10 gold Indian coins before they sell out. Don't wait. You must act fast. Call now.
You guys got a new Honda? Well, it was like this. My mom was driving me to school when, damn, our car started smoking. My mom wasn't happy, so she called my dad and said, honey, if you value your life and our marriage, you will take care of this now. So my dad calls up Stockton Honda and was like, can you give me approved for a new car and save my marriage? And they're all, sure, Mr. Jones, we do this every day. And just like that, Stockton Honda to the rescue.
StocktonHonda.com.
Do you have old baseball cards and sports memorabilia from the 50s and 60s collecting dust in your closet? They could be very valuable in any condition. Find out at the Sports Cards Roadshow. We'll be in the Sacramento area to evaluate your old and modern sports cards. Visit sportscardsroadshow.com today to schedule your appointment. Ask about your free on-site sports card evaluation. For large vintage and modern collections, we can come to you. Skip the garage sale. Sports Cards Roadshow is buying. Call 1-800-560-3272 today or visit sportscardsroadshow.com.
Sponsored by Xfinity Internet. Enjoy ultimate control of your home network. Personalize your Wi-Fi name and password. Assign user profiles. View and control connected devices and more with the Xfinity Internet app.
Sacktown Sports. Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
All right, so the quick note that I had that I wanted to go over 15 more minutes with you. It's been a great week. Thank you for listening to us all week long. We really hope that you enjoy your weekend. I'm trying to get the pleasantries and saying goodbye out at the beginning of these segments because they'll fly by, and then the goodbyes aren't always as nice as I want them to be. So everybody, hope you have a good weekend. Enjoy the weather, and we'll see you on Monday. But we're not done yet. Guys, I saw this note that I just thought was interesting, and it was a little bit of a hybrid of Friday Fun and Games, okay? They have the tickets here on the website that I'm on, the ticket prices. So let's have some fun with this. We'll go high-low. Which game has the least expensive tickets, and can you guess what that number is?
I'll go.
Least expensive ticket. What's the cheapest ticket in town?
Chargers Panthers.
That is the second lowest.
Oh man,
Cheapest ticket in town. I'll go with Commanders Giants. Might be it.
That's what I was thinking.
Nope, not close.
Texans
No.
Bears.
Seahawks Patriots.
No.
Oh man,
What the heck?
I don't want to run.
Rams Cardinals.
Colts
Yes,
Packers.
Nate got it.
Rams Cardinals.
Rams Cardinals. Tickets as low as blank.
Nobody cares about the Cardinals.
$47.
No, probably less than that. I'd guess 12. for like
tickets
the
as
highest
low
seat
as $17. Wow. Rams
go.
at Cardinals. Chargers at Panthers. Tickets as low as $19.
Okay.
What's the most expensive game this week?
The most expensive game, you had Jets at Titans at $29.
Or I guess the most expensive entry point.
Yes, the most expensive entry point, I will tell you. What in the world?
You're going to say Steelers?
Steelers at Broncos, $145. Bengals at Chiefs, $125. Bears at Texans, $135. So Steelers, Broncos. Most expensive.
It's the home opener. That could be it for the Broncos. Just in general,
yeah.
You know, the Broncos are a big team. Maybe that's my thought process. They don't play again. I'm looking at their schedule. Their next home game is October 6th. So maybe it's kind of a, hey, get in now for the home opener and you won't see another one.
Monday. If we're doing Monday night.
Yeah, sure.
Monday night is $155.
But that's always going to have an extra
We didn't
premium,
do Falcons at Eagles.
Well, we can do it
on
on
Monday.
Yeah, exactly.
After I know I already took care of it.
Yeah, there you go. Then I can have a little inside knowledge before
we go. Prop talk. Nate, you got something cooked up?
Yeah, I'm going to rock with Ayuk's bounce back, 55.5 yards. That's nothing crazy.
He
but
had
I'm
54 last game.
I'm taking the over on that. And
Okay.
I'm going to say, just for fun, I think he gets a touchdown too.
Wow.
I thought he was going to get that last week.
He didn't do too well against
So
the
he did,
Vikings last time. Last year, let me see. Last year, Brandon Ayuk against the Vikings in Week 7, 6 targets, 5 catches, 57 yards, no touchdowns. And let me see. I believe he was their leading receiver that game. He was, in fact, let's see here. Where did it go? Yeah, he was, in fact, their leading receiver. Oh, no, George Kittle was. I'm sorry. George Kittle was.
I'm done with George Kittle. With prop talk. I never know what that man is
He
going
had
to do.
78 yards, 5 receptions, 7 targets last time they played the Vikings.
Chris,
Big Christian McCaffrey.
Who's your prop talk?
I'm going an easy one. I really like this one. I'm shocked that it's this low of a number. Jake Moody, 1.5 field goals. Feels easy. What, he had 6 last week? He was 6 of 6. I guess it starts to get a little bit sketchy if maybe you're not a Jake Moody believer, and if he misses 1, might end up kind of killing that entire prop, but he did well. It's in a dome. Not really reason for him to feel uncomfortable in that setting. I'm gonna take Jake Moody over 1.5 field goals made.
Yeah, Chris and I were actually talking during the break, and I was going to take that.
Yes.
I said, did you see this? I mean, seems obvious, but this is what they do. They do it on purpose.
Yep.
And last but not least, guys,
Guaranteed loss.
I think this one is pretty easy for me. I do not see Jordan Mason. They're not even offering Jordan Mason's rushing yards. And look, Chris, you know about your defense. I can't see Jordan Mason doing this. So hang with me here. I'm doing what Chris did a couple days ago yesterday, where Chris really broke down his reasoning. So Brock Purdy, they have his pass completion set at 20.5. Brock Purdy with Jordan Mason running all over the Jets, he completed 19 passes. So to me, 20.5, and the run gets stopped a little bit more than it did last week because Jordan Mason isn't surprising the heck out of everyone. 20.5 feels easy to me unless the Vikings just get gashed.
Yeah.
Just like the Jets did. So I think we have some pretty good props
I
here,
do
guys.
too.
I like it.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if yours didn't hit, just because, I've had that same thought this morning. I was like, I feel like, they're just going to key in on the run. And, even if it's not Brock throwing the ball downfield, I just feel like it's going to be a lot more, let's just get the ball to Debo. Let's get the ball to Ayuk.
Yes.
Let's get them in screens and everything and just have them move the ball that way. Because, you have to figure after Jordan Mason goes off like that, no one's just going to allow him to do what he did again. That'd be pretty stupid.
Nate, I'm curious, do you think we see anyone carry the rock besides Jordan Mason and Debo this week?
So this is outside of CMC. CMC is not playing, correct?
Yes.
So this is the assumption. I think Garendo, if it gets out of hand, get some touches for sure. But I think the worry is, especially with any rookie, is fumbles. So if you give the Vikings a fumble in your own territory, that can totally throw off the trajectory of the game. So I think Garendo might get 3 or 4, maybe.
Okay, I guess I more so meant any change of pace, or just like we saw what Kyle Shanahan does with CMC, and it's just feed CMC.
No.
And
It's the Jordan Mason
there's not
show
going to be
again.
any change of pace.
I think he probably gets 75, 80 yards in that area.
Yeah.
but I don't think the Vikings let him do that. I think the Vikings front seven, they have a little bit of tape now, and they can kind of see how Shanahan's going to approach that.
There you go. Hopefully we make you some cheddar. Let's go over what we did yesterday, guys. And I don't think it went well.
Not great.
Not for me.
Not awesome.
I hit.
Yeah, Nate hit. My extra hit, unfortunately, I mean, I had the Tua, what was it, like 5.5 rush yards.
Oh,
as like
that's
the bonus.
right.
He did hit it.
You did get it.
Yeah.
You got it. But
You
at what
did get
cost? At what cost?
Don Kincaid. I mean, I'm done with.
Yeah.
I'm done with the.
He actually played well.
Tight ends.
Dude, he started, I think, their first drive. He had their first catch for like 12 yards or something.
And I'm glad
like, Allen's going to hit.
Yeah, I'm glad I was at Ballers not thinking, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Here we
got
go.
this.
I told you I understand the
They
game.
doubted me.
But Chris was right on his, obviously we wish Tua the best, but Chris was right because that was the one you broke everything down.
Yeah.
And if you study this stuff, guys, they're giving away cheap.
They're just giving it away.
They're giving it away.
That's why we're all rich.
You just gotta
find it.
You just gotta not go with vibes. Too often I go with vibes. My classic is
Facts
I'm
over
not gonna take wide receiver 1 because there's gonna be extra on him. So the secondary wide receiver 2, he's gotta hit, right? And then I throw a tight end in there, and then nobody hits.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. All right, let's get into some shout-outs and closeouts. I will start it off. Yeah, I'm a little bit late on this. It was literally it was a little less than a week ago, my mom's birthday, who was called into the show.
Nice.
Happy birthday to my mother. I was in a different thought process because we're going up to Tahoe to celebrate this weekend. So happy birthday to my mother. And by the way, I've been with my wife for a very long time prior to getting married, since college, right? She's always said, hey, can we please go up to Tahoe during the summer? And I've never took her this whole time. It's been a decade. And we're finally going up to Tahoe in the summer. So it's going to be fun.
It's definitely fall. But
it's the best I could do.
Yeah.
There's no snow.
It's close. It's close.
No,
that's
doesn't need
really
to
what
see
she
snow.
meant. Look, she meant spiritually.
We are going to be on the beach. It's going to be 70 tomorrow.
Exactly.
We're going to be on the
It's
beach.
going to be beautiful.
There you go.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Love Tahoe, especially this time of the year. Honestly, it is the perfect time of year to go. And I got some family birthdays this weekend too. I got my sister, my mom. My mom's birthday's next week. My sister's one is this week. So we're just kind of jointing it up. High school football is going to be great this week. I got to shout out my alma mater, Christian Brothers. They're taking on Jesuit in the Holy Bowl tomorrow. That should be a good one. I'm going to try and make it out. But if not, good luck. Good luck to all those kids out there playing on both sides. Should be a good one, and always is one of the funner games to go to, even if you're not a part or affiliated with either school. Tons of people going to be flocking out to Hughes Stadium. So if you're not doing anything tomorrow, go watch some high school football.
Nate?
I'm going with, I guess, kind of like guest of her. I don't know. Kayla brought us food this week. My girlfriend, Kayla. Mm-hmm. I'm giving her a shout out. She's going through some tough stuff with work. So going to figure it out and, keep moving. So shout out to Kales.
There you go. The Drive Guys are up next to take you up into the weekend. You have Whitey Gleason. You have Kyle Draper. You have Jay Johnson. Congrats to all the winners this week to the Thunder Showdown. And it will be next week, next Saturday. It's going to be a good time. Shout out to all the callers, the texters, the Sack Chatters.
Oh, yeah.
Hope you enjoyed yourselves because we definitely did. Shout out to Nate. Great job as always. And until Monday, secure the bag like the beam.
Malik Monk plays here.
Left goes right, step